certain extreme situations, the law is inadequate. In order to shame its inadequacy, it is necessary to act outside the law, to pursue natural justice. This is not vengeance. Revenge is not a valid motive, it's an emotional response. No, not vengeance. Punishment.
Tonight we have a chance to say, yeah, you're right. We're too extreme, we're too wild, we're too out of control, we're too full of our own shit. Or we have a chance to say, hey, fuck you, you're wrong. Fuck you, we're right. Because you have all made it to the dance. Because believe me, this is the dance. Start the show.
Good evening and welcome, everybody. It is the Steel Toe Nighttime Show. It's the evening show, and for the first time in a long time, I have no idea what's going to happen tonight.
Oh, yeah?
It is 100% completely up to the audience. We had a weird thing happen before the show, and we'll get to that in a second.
All right.
We had an amazing thing happen this morning where the morning show, once again, kind of making you evening people look like a barrel of dog shit. No offense. You guys missed by 90 last night. And when you missed by 90, I went into the app and I just went 90 from me, 90 to the show.
Gotcha.
And I went, it's on me. Don't worry about it. I got it. But the evening show, obviously doesn't get their overtime for that. Whatever. Well, this morning, the morning show audience, it was a solo show. Johnny wrote in and said, I need 30 minutes more sleep. Well, you know me. If I'm going to be going for 30 minutes, I'm kind of getting in a rhythm. Whatever, just take the day off.
Yeah.
Because, I don't want to be going for 30 minutes and then, here you go, kind of jump in.
Mm-hmm.
So I just told him, take the day off, get some rest. And he did, I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we did a show, and all of a sudden, the audience just starts throwing 50s and 100s and 150s at us. And I think by the end of the first hour, the morning show goal was knocked out.
Yeah.
And by 8 o'clock, last night's show was knocked out.
Uh-huh.
So I went back into the app and I went, I'll take that
90
back, please. Thank you very much. That's very nice. We're fine. And then they got $70 into tonight.
Yeah.
Because the morning show audience was saying, we want to watch the debate tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, here's the problem with a debate night.
Yeah.
You don't make any money on debate nights. We need to make our money,
Yeah,
whatever.
bills to pay.
Everyone knows how this show works. I've been very upfront about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, if you guys get us under 100, we'll do the debate night.
Oh, okay.
Because then during the debate night, we can go, hey, guys, by the way, $70 away. Just, hammer that out, whatever. They got to 180.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to say. If we get inside of 80 to $100, if we get in that range by the top of the hour, we'll do the debate stream. We can do very minimal begging in it. Now, if you guys want to just knock the whole fucking thing out in an hour and then we can just go do this debate and call her a day, that's great. Well, then before the show even started, Gray Duckling jumps in. And Gray Duckling says, well, why don't we do a movie night instead? And he throws us $180. Knocks out tonight's goal.
Okay.
And I said, let me ask you, do you want me to do this tonight or tomorrow?
Uh-huh.
And he said, your choice.
Okay.
Since it's Idiocracy and you've already seen it, I don't want to do a watch-along of Idiocracy with you.
Okay.
Because if I'm going to do a watch-along with you, I want it to be a movie we all know that's a classic that you've never seen so we can laugh at you for not seeing it.
Gotcha.
That's the whole gimmick with the watch-along.
I understand that.
So Gray Duckling gives us the 180 and he goes, your pick. I said, well, you know what? Wednesday night, last evening show of the week, I'll take that 180 for the goal. That's good. That's a win. I'll take that in advance.
Okay.
And we'll do a movie night, and he wants to do Idiocracy. And I say, okay, great. We'll do Idiocracy. We'll do a movie on Wednesday. It's an easy way for me to cruise out of the evening shows for the week. So I said, all right, we'll have No Goal tomorrow night. We'll do Idiocracy.
Yeah.
And then for Tuesday night, we'll still leave it open because I didn't want to do a movie night tonight and then have anybody who wanted debate coverage to be fucking pissed.
Yeah, because they were given money for the debate.
They were given $70 came in towards the debate.
Yep.
So I don't want to fuck people over.
Yeah.
The only way I want to fuck people over is by the way I told them I would fuck people over. I said, look, if we don't make enough money in this first hour, I got to keep dancing and doing stories and, peddling and bell ringing and shit. to keep the money flowing. So Gray Duckling covers tonight.
Okay.
I say, you know what? I'll take that for tomorrow. Like if someone says to me, hey, I know you're going to have a goal of about 220 tomorrow. If I just give you 180 now, you want to call it? And I'm like, all right, fine. Okay, I'll call it.
Good enough.
That's a request. You're throwing us $180. I'll take requests. So we're going to do that tomorrow. Since Gray Duckling gave me the choice, we'll do it tomorrow night.
Okay.
We'll do Idiocracy. It'll be fun. We'll do a watch along.
That's going to be a good one.
It also takes me time to find a bootlegged version. And also that means tomorrow night has to be on Rumble. Can't do it on YouTube. So we'll do a watch along tomorrow. It'll be fun. It'll be great. It'll be exciting. Everyone will have fun. Now, if you guys want to do the debate, let's do the debate. Throw in a few bucks, Streamlabs, PayPal, Venmo, Rumble, YouTube. Great. Like I said, if we get between 80 and 100 away, by the time the debate starts at the top of the hour, we'll do it. Until then, we'll do a show, the whole deal. If we don't get there by the top of the hour, we're going to keep running and gunning and begging. Gray Duckling with $10 says no, new movie for Matt. Well, it's too late now, Gray Duckling. Like, we've started.
Yeah, no, the request came in.
Yeah.
Or is he saying no to tonight because new movie for Matt? I think that's what he's saying.
Oh, he means.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe means no, not.
Do you want me to. Wait, do you want me to do a show?
Oh, shit.
Now I have no idea what he wants me to do.
Right.
Because you can't be here tomorrow.
He needs to define boundaries of his terms.
But he already did define boundaries, and I accepted his terms, and now it seems like we're changing them. Thank you for the $10, Gray Duckling. But yeah, I got to do the Rumble stream, and then I got to find the movie you're looking for. I got to find a version of it we can play. Then I've got a bunch of people who have already given money because they want to do the debate thing. So
fun fact.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is like the one Wednesday that I could do.
Okay. Gray Duckling, if you want to request a different movie and we can do it tomorrow night with Matt, let's do that.
I can be here tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes.
So Gray Duckling, your offer still stands. Chevrolet JB says, what's the Venmo? It's Steel Toe Media Inc. on Venmo. It's right there at the end of the thing. Steel Toe Media Inc. on Venmo. Steel Toe Media Inc. So yes, so now that means 175 away from doing the debate tonight. If we do that by 8 o'clock. And it is, by the way, the vice presidential debate. So it's going to be Vance versus Walz. Honestly, if you're asking me, fuck them both.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really like either one of them.
Cat ladies.
And it's fine. God. Like, I don't think you're supposed to like the vice presidential. Like, if people like the vice presidential candidate a lot, that's not good for the candidate.
Well, people like the last vice presidential candidate so much that she fucking had to bomb out way early. Didn't she get like no votes?
Who?
Kamala.
Oh,
How do I say her name without being racist?
Kamala. Well, no, you can't say her name without being racist. Because you always follow it up with the N-word.
The last candidate, Kamala, was, not liked.
No.
And then they picked her, now they're running her.
Now she's the greatest thing that's ever happened to the country. She's amazing.
Even though she was so not liked.
So, with the vice presidential candidates, though, like the last one to be really popular, where people were like, yeah, fucking rules, but it actually hurt the candidate. It was when Sarah Palin was the vice presidential candidate for McCain.
Yeah.
Remember all those Republicans fucking loved her and thought she was the greatest, and some of her like appearances started outdrawing John McCain's appearances, and you're like, uh-oh, this isn't good. So I'm not excited about tonight's debate.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to watch it and make fun of it. Like the Harris-Trump debate, I was excited to watch just to see how they'd match up stylistically. This one, I just want these two soggy son of a bitches to make asses of themselves.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Plus, I'll have a carbless or two. I'll go upstairs and I'll grab a carb bliss or two, and we'll have
we're fucking hitting it hard tonight.
yeah, we'll have girl drinks tonight. If
All
we
right.
Do
You're going to join me in the girl drinks.
Yeah, if we do the debate.
love it.
SG Selgroth with $10 over on Rumble says debate. All right, 165 away from today. Like I said, you guys put that inside. You put that between 80 and 100, or fuck it, get it down to 0 before the debate starts, and we'll do the debate. Las Tejas says one of these two on stage will be president in 2025. Act accordingly. I don't think so. I think the Secret Service has learned its lesson, Buster. They've got it figured out now. So thank you, Gray Duckling, for knocking that out for tomorrow night. Please get in touch with me and let me know what movie we're doing for Matt tonight. Give me some time tomorrow night, so I can find a good copy, and I can I can get that all set up. Funeral director with $2 says, "Evening boys, let's get it rolling. Hashtag sink to canoe." That's nice. Tridio with $2 says, "Did you buy the shirt yet?" The Kiwi Farm. Yes, I bought the Kiwi Farm shirt. I was down here. I was mailing all these Stonies things. By the way, Shannon L. and Dive Bar, get me your info, and then we're good. Those are the last two I have to send out. Otherwise, all the Stonies have been sent out. They're all sent out and good to go. Even a few people, we ran out of stickers. I was sending out stickers.
Ooh.
So I sent a few extra Stonies that I had.
Nice.
Out to those people. I made sure they were local first. Kamala Waltz, 2024, from Funeral Director with $2 says, "We love Melton to Onion."
Oh, boy.
Oh, no. Does Kamala Harris and Tim Walz they're fans.
They would.
They would. I mean, Democrats, it makes sense. Gray Duckling with $5 says, "Debate and movie 43 tomorrow." Have you ever seen movie 43?
No fucking idea what you're talking
All
about.
right, we're going to show Matt movie 43 tomorrow then.
Okay, movie 40.
On Rumble.
40.
It's a fucking weird movie.
All right, I'm down for weird.
It's silly. That's for sure. April actually showed me that one.
Oh.
Not a bad pick on her part.
Okay.
Not bad taste with that movie 43. Gray Duckling with thank you, Gray Duckling. DS with $9.99 says, "I heard Da Vinci tried to paint her eyes but couldn't find the color." She's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. Doesn't seem to be living till she starts talking about politics. All right. XJX says, "How does A-Dog get the gayest trolls?" Well, I think he was, I think it's just, I attract gay in general. That's how I get the gayest trolls. I think
hence earlier show, Twister.
Right. Oh, God. How did I just start telling that story?
Because your brain has no filter sometimes.
I just start telling stories on the show, and I'm like, hey, and then we went and we played Twist. Oh, fuck.
No, but then you let it out. It was actually Strip Twister.
No dicks out, by the way. Breaking Baldo News said, "Oh, Nick and Aaron were playing Twister with their dicks out." No dicks out. It was not naked Twister. Fucking hell.
That sucks when your co-host actually listens to your show, doesn't it?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. What can I tell you? Deutsch, people are saying too late now. Oh, don't I know it? Yeah, he says too late now. Dicks were out. Yeah, I know. In the narrative, we fucked each other in the ass.
Yes.
And really, it's more offensive when they say he fucked me in the ass. I know I should be offended by both, but at least if I'm inserting, there's a dominance element to it. Yeah. I'm not okay with either, and neither happened.
You know, but here's the thing. In this day and age, nobody cares who's on top.
Yeah,
there's no difference anymore.
We really have reached peak degeneracy, haven't we?
It's you do gay shit. What, like, that's all I'm. Is it really a big deal?
You sound flustered.
Is it really a big deal?
You okay?
I'm fine.
You seem flustered by
doing
this
gay shit.
Bit.
It's fun.
Oh man. Wouldn't that mean dicks were in? No, dicks were. I'm not. You know what? I don't need to answer.
Dicks were hidden during that game.
I don't need to answer these. I don't need to answer these questions. Deutsch Chad said Melton was losing his mind today because he said you were reading the YouTube chat and were lying about only reading Rumble chat. It was sad. Imagine. Okay, first of all, I wasn't. But second of all, imagine losing your mind over something like that. No, he's reading the YouTube chat. I'm not. I read the super chats, yeah. But the YouTube chat, I just kind of let people do their thing in there. Rumble chat's funnier.
Yeah.
I think the people on Rumble are really funny. Plus, I can censor them if I need to, but they can say those things, which I kind of like. So, yeah. I mean, the problem is when you don't talk about, even when we talk about Melton and his problems he has and how the internet thinks he's a creepy, gross kid weirdo now. If we don't talk about him or anything, he gets really mad in general and just starts losing his shit. So I guess today it's because of the chat. Somebody was reading the chat and said they weren't. And
I guess so.
Oof. Must be getting desperate down there in that old basement. Buffalo Jockey with $1 says, tell them about your circle jerk back in the day. No cocaine to blame on that one. There was no circle jerk. That's not what it was.
I made that a bit my first time on the air with you.
We're not telling that story today.
I even brought a sleep Megan everything when I showed up at the studio that morning.
Nah, it's not true. Tridio with $2 says, show us the shirt receipt so I can make an ad clip. I will. It's in my email. I'll get you the receipt, and I'll put it up on the screen tonight or tomorrow. Day One with $2 says, let your co-hosts on MLC with KB. He will pay them. I've never stopped any of my co-hosts from going on with Kevin.
But why?
Brennan.
What do I have to contribute to his show other than dirt on Aaron? And that's not what we're doing.
The problem is when you talk to Johnny and you go on Kevin Brennan for $250.
Yeah.
Johnny and I both say the same thing. He goes, all he's going to do is talk about you the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Johnny's like, I don't want to go on I don't want to be asked on a show as somebody's guest. I don't care how much they pay me, just to talk about you.
Yeah.
And also, there's things that you guys as co-hosts, I can't let you talk about.
Exactly.
I can't let you.
I know that.
It's not like Aaron's controlling what they say.
No.
No. It's out of my hands. I can't let them talk about it.
Yeah.
I am.
And we understand.
I am responsible for that.
If I had some weird, wacky shit going on that maybe he really wanted me on his show for, that'd be different.
Right, because then you could make the decision.
I could shit talk myself all day long. Yeah.
So yeah, those guys can go on Brennan's show all they want. It's up to them. They just know what it's for. And plus, I already told Kevin, I said, when all this is over, you're the only show I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to save everything for my show, but I'll do a fun little drop-in guest appearance on MLC. And so, Kevin, if you just wait till around the end of the year, you and I will make some magic together. Don't you worry. And also, I don't want people, even if it is you two, I don't want you making money on something I can make money on. Hey, Aaron, we're going to go on somebody else's show and make money on your ass. No, I'll make money on my ass. Don't make money on
I mean, that is kind of a fair point.
Right. That's just it. It's like,
it'd be different if I was some random dickhead on the street that you talked to and spewed all your shit to.
Yeah.
I'm working for you.
Aaron, you know how
it's a little different. We're friends. It's a lot bit different.
You know how you pay us money to be on your show? I'm going to go on somebody else's show, and they're going to give me lots of money to talk about you. No, I'll go on and talk about me.
That's shitty on two levels.
That's shitty on a lot of levels. Yeah. JT10 with $10 says, Kevin Brennan and Chad were talking mad shit about you on his podcast earlier. Oof, you're going to take that from those two? When does Kevin Brennan not talk shit about people? And Chad Zumach and I hate each other.
They're allowed to.
Of course they would be talking mad shit. Don't try your gay Ray DeVito podcast reverse psychology on me, you fucking... I like JT10. But still, you get the point. By the way, 140 away from doing the debate tonight. Thank you, guys. So, yeah, I love that when they're like, oh, they were talking shit about you. Are you going to let... You know, they're going to, oh, you going to take that? Yeah. Oh, Tommy, you going to take that? Spider, good for you, Spider. Don't take no shit from anybody. Aaron, you going to take that? Kevin Brennan's whole gimmick is talking shit about everybody. Jesus.
I'll fucking kill you, you fucking faggot.
Wait, that guy was saying mean things about me? Say it ain't so. Let's go into the chat here. Thank you guys very much. Chevrolet JB says, did I send it to the wrong Venmo?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. If you want.
Redact.
Oh, wait. Nope. Hold on.
Redact. Okay, wait.
Nope.
Okay, wait.
Nope. You motherfucker. Oh. Chevrolet JB, I'm assuming this is you. $100. Thank you for the $100, by the way. He says, for Gay Twister. I appreciate the $100. What I don't appreciate is the Gay Twister reference. So $40 away from tonight. We will be watching the debate come 8 o'clock. Join us for that and knock out that last 40. We appreciate it. Pumpkin Popsum's becoming a member for 28 months. Says, let's go Pours. Debate night. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. MSO says, I heard Matt is debating a cinder block tonight.
I mean, it's going to be a tough one.
Las Tejas says the cinder block wins hands down. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So $40 away. We'll do the debate tonight. Knock that out. We appreciate Chevrolet JB. I think I want to say thank you. I think that's the nice thing to say is thank you for the $100.
But I feel there's a but coming.
But when it was for Gay Twister,
Uh-huh.
hurts my feelings. It hurts my feelings. I'll break into the carb list tonight.
Okay.
I'll break into the carb list tonight for the debate. So yeah, knock out that last $40. And that means we've had a perfect week so far because the morning show audience was ridiculous this morning. Thank you for that. And we've knocked out llast night already, so you and I are going to do a movie watch.
Okay, yeah.
That'll be fun. Hulkamash says, I thought it was a weird Twister move. Right hand to Nick's genitals. I'd see this is not. It's not going to go away anytime soon. Chad Buzamok says, I'm late, but here for my favorite dullard, Matt. You know, people were writing in the comment section of last night's episode. They're like, really, really bummed you didn't hit the goal. You guys took it like a champ, whatever. They said, but the evening shows with Matt are funnier than ever. You should be hitting them every night. And you know what? I said, thank you.
Yeah.
But we hit it this morning.
Yep.
We've already, we're
wasn't
$40
it Tuesday
away
nights
tonight.
were the hard one before?
Tuesday mornings were hard.
Tuesday
before.
mornings. Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
My knee grows becoming a member for 2 months says, for letting me use your asshole as a fleshlight today. That never happened. Gray Duckling with $2 says, what other type of twister is there? That's true. There is no other twister but Gay Twister. Or as Triple N says, Fister Twister.
Nah.
It's different. It's totally different. All right. Well, Loaded Wrench becoming a member for 24 months says, Matt and Aaron look like two guys that sat behind me on the short bus.
I did ride the short bus.
Did you really?
Dude, every bus, like my house.
You
when I was a
understand
kid-
the chat's about to explode with people going like, I fucking knew it.
No, I'm fine with that. Every bus went from my house, right? Or went past my house from the elementary school, would go do their route then for the like middle school, high school.
Yeah.
Every bus left the elementary school and they all went down the main drag right by my house. The last bus in line, the fucking short bus. That's the one that stopped for me.
So you wrote it, so you weren't retarded or anything.
I was not retarded. No, but we did stop across the street from the high school. So this is my freshman year. I didn't have a driver's license yet, right? There is a girl in a wheelchair who lived across the street from the high school. Yes, you heard me. Across the street from the high school. The bus had to stop there in the middle of winter when it's fucking 5 degrees, open the big handicap door, put down the big handicap chairlift while everybody froze.
So make a scene.
Yeah, because mom could stand out there with her child in the driveway for 15 minutes while we did this, but couldn't push her ass across the fucking street to the school. It was fucking miserable. But yes, I rode the fucking short bus.
I think you've pounded on this table so much
What?
that it's actually starting to give.
It's not giving.
I'm starting to hear it I'm starting to hear it on the mics.
No,
and shit.
it's your wobbly fucking mic. Tighten your screw. This thing. This.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah.
My screw's going fucking.
You know
again.
the thing that Johnny was doing? You're like, you need to fucking not do that with your mic on. And you told him not to adjust things and like tighten things. And
Yeah.
you need to do that like off the air and tighten that shit.
There is a.
Should I bring my Allen wrenches next week? Oh, no, tomorrow.
Yeah, you're gonna
Coming
be here
tomorrow. Should I bring
I
Allen
have
wrenches?
Allen wrenches, but the thing about Allen wrenches for this is that they don't work well because you can't get underneath. You have to take the whole mic
Well,
apart.
then you just unscrew the little tabby things and then it slides down. And
This is really, we're entertaining the shit out of people right now.
I rode the short bus.
By the way, this is why people don't give us money until after we start doing the show. Because we give $40 away and we're like, well,
whatever. You're the one that accused me of pounding on the table too much when it's your wobbly mic.
People are saying that this is not a surprise, Matt, that he rode the short bus. Tard confirmed. I'm surprised Matt doesn't wear an all-the-time helmet. Did they give you assigned seats and helmets when you rode the short bus?
No, in fact, I sat the farthest back corner I could because that was the farthest away from the stupid fucking door.
And by the way, to the person who wrote, Matt and Aaron look like two guys that sat behind me on the short bus, that's not a good shit talk because that puts you on the short bus. So you don't want to do that as an insult. You don't say, oh, Matt and Aaron look like two guys who sat behind me on the short bus. You don't put yourself on the short bus.
Self-deprecating humor. Yeah.
I guess he's retarded too.
Yeah.
Elza Belza says, Kevin was yelling about you putting super chats on the screen for the most part, and he's not wrong. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay.
That's not talking shit. You guys are little shit stirrers is what it is. Funeral director with $5 says, between Matt hating on sexy Latinas and suggesting to homeless move 700-pound boulders to get tent spots back, he proved his IQ was subhuman yesterday.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't have passion for fucking homeless. Oh,
what?
I'm an asshole because I don't want the homeless junkies camping on the fucking street.
That's not why I think you're an asshole.
That's what that guy said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm calling him out.
I think he's more upset about your shit-talking sexy Latinas.
Have your thing. It's not my thing. Did I shit-talk him? Did I shit-talk him?
You really didn't show a lot of appreciation to those two
I don't
sexy
have any
chicas.
appreciation, but that doesn't mean somebody else shouldn't.
Okay.
Have your thing.
Okay. So you're not against sexy Latinas?
I'm not against. I'm not pro. I'm indifferent.
Wow.
They don't mean anything to me.
It's really going to affect.
They don't do anything to me, for me. Like, nah. Not my thing.
People saying that the shirts we're wearing remind them of Travolta and Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
Oh, boy.
One of us needs to wear a Slugs shirt, and the other one needs to wear I don't even remember what the other shirt was. You guys are $35 away from tonight. Thank you very much. We will do the debate at 8 o'clock, but if we could clean up that goal and get it to 0, tomorrow night has already been taken care of on request of Gray Duckling. He would like a watch-along movie night, so he knocked out most of last night's goal. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. We're only 35 away from tonight. So now there's a new thing about Tim Walz coming out. So earlier today, there was the Tim Walz being investigated for ties to China. Uh-huh. And now, apparently, Tim Walz was claiming that he was in Hong Kong during the Tiananmen Square protests. The problem is that claim has now been undercut by unearthed newspaper reports. So here's the problem with saying you were places when it's the internet age. We can now go back and check that.
Yeah.
You know, like if I go one day and I'm talking about the Vikings on some show and they bring up the Minneapolis Miracle as one of the greatest plays in Vikings history, I'd be like, I was there. I was in the stadium for that game. They can go back. They can comb the seats. They can confirm that.
Yeah.
I was there. I was way up in the 300s. But I was there. This is before my Ticketmaster searching days. So then, if you say, like, who was the guy who got busted? Or was it Hillary Clinton? Somebody claiming they, like, landed in Bosnia under sniper fire. And that turned out to be total bullshit. Because
wasn't it a news guy?
They were able to go back and check that, and they're able to watch the person land on the tarmac, and there was no sniper fire. They were fine. I think it actually was Hillary Clinton. You're thinking of Brian Williams.
Okay.
And he said, like, what did Brian Williams say? Like, he took fire in a Black Hawk helicopter?
Yeah, that might
I
be
think
one
what he
thing,
meant
though.
to say was he took fire Black Hawk in a helicopter, is what Brian Williams meant to say. It's totally different, actually. Cody Enstad says, Aaron, how come you don't try out for the Kill Tony show? Because it's in fucking Austin and I'm not funny enough. I think that covers it. Triple N says, that's wild, G. I thought big booty Latinas were universally loved. Not by Matt.
Yeah. I don't need a big booty. What do you need a big booty for?
I'm not the biggest ass guy in the world, but it's...
I mean, a nice ass is appreciated.
Nice. A nice ass is nice.
But I don't go, oh, it's got to be big. Why? What? Calm down.
Well, if that's how you're going to say it, I wouldn't want any woman with you to have a nice ass because that...
Well, that's the big booty Latinas. What do you imagine that guy saying? That's what I imagine, I guess. When I
Fucking tits. Yeah, I guess he does talk like that.
Yeah. About booties. So, yeah.
Gray Duckling with $5 says, remember when Aaron said he would figure out how to put the super chats on the screen? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Here's what I can do. Watch this. I can do this.
Ah.
There we go.
Look at that.
There, I can put them on the screen like that. There. Remember when Aaron said he would figure out how to put the super chats on screen? Pepperidge Farm remembers. There. I can do that.
You figured it out.
I mean, temporary. Yeah, I mean, kind of. I can put your super chats on the screen that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, send me super chats. We'll get lots of practice. That's what we'll do. Yeah, they're saying this is blasphemy, what you're saying.
Well, fine. Whatever. Doesn't need to be a big, chubby, fat ass. I like a nice, well-rounded package.
Excuse me?
The tits, the ass, the whole body.
Oh, I thought, you meant a nice, well-rounded package.
No, not playing Twister.
You want... It's going to be hard for me to call anybody gay anymore. And that sucks because that's like 63% of my gimmick. If I can't call people gay, what am I going to do?
You just say it takes one to know one. You call them out that way. Own it?
Yeah, but then I'm just saying that I'm gay. It's not going to... Let's just put it this way. It's not working out well for me. All right, guys, $35 away from tonight. We are doing the, like I said, we are doing the debate tonight in about a half hour. Chad Buzamak says, why are you so bad at this? Just do it right, Mr. Professional Broadcaster. Fuck you. Professional radio broadcasting has nothing to do with putting super chats on the screen.
No.
And when it comes to OBS, I still haven't found a mechanism with which they can put the super chat on the screen. Oh, I do have one idea.
Yeah?
I have one idea.
Is it to Google how to do it?
No.
Okay.
I can do a browser copy, and I can copy that tab,
Yeah.
and I can put it on a scroll,
Okay.
and I can just do the last part here where the last super chat comes in and just screen it down from there.
Ooh.
That's a possibility.
That is a good possibility.
DS, thank you for the $1.99. He says, LOL, did it work? Oh, no, not again. And no, for 99 cents, I'm not going to read that. I mean, that guy's not welcome anymore. I mean, that's just a really shitty way to be. And it's just a really shitty thing to do to, people who didn't ask to be invited. I mean, it's just, I kind of just feel bad for that guy. And honestly, like, that's your life. That's who you are. And that's what gets you going. That's really pathetic. I knew he was sad. It's just the fact that people like that exist just kind of makes it not worth voting. It's like, why save this? There's no, I look at the politicians more and more. The more I'm on the internet, the more I look at the politicians and I go, well, I know they're not the problem.
Yeah.
And I look at us and I go, we're not worth doing a good job for. Let this die. It's reached peak problem.
You're not wrong.
Let's let it rot.
Mm-hmm.
Let it rot, let it rot, let it rot. I watched someone research it and do a test stream, and I watched someone research it and do a test stream in 3 hours. Are you this technologically retarded, sir? Yes.
When have you said you weren't?
Yes. I've said I'm retarded many, many times. MSO says, yes, sir, there were a lot of shows stubbing the toe today. Oh, were they not happy? Because we had a great day today. Still having a great day today. Were they not happy? Were they getting stubbed toes today? That's too bad. I don't know what I do to make them so upset. I'm just sitting here being a silly goose, doing a dopey show, but boy, do they seethe. Boy, do they seethe. So newly unearthed reports contradict previous claims made by Governor Tim Walz about his travel to China, including a claim, like only a Democrat would be like, you know what's cool? I'm going to make up a story about going to China. Whereas like most of us would go, why'd you go to that fucking commie joint?
Right.
You traitorous bastard. Vice presidential nominee was in Hong Kong for a teaching position in 1989. Oh, Hong Kong wasn't part of China then.
Oh.
Hong Kong was part of the UK back then. During the, or like an independent thing. I don't know when did the UK let Hong Kong go? Let's take a look. When did the UK let go of Hong Kong? 1997.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, it was still British back then. Tim Walz. He says he was there during the Tiananmen Square pro-democracy protest that ended in hundreds of protesters killed by the Chinese government. The discrepancy over Walz's relationship to China comes out of Tuesday's debate, where Republican allies of JD Vance have signaled that the GOP VP nominee may use Walz's history in China to attack his rival. Walz regularly organized and chaperoned trips to China during his time as a teacher prior to entering politics. Okay. Now, Walz had previously said he visited Hong Kong in May of '89, weeks before the Tiananmen Square massacre in Beijing. During a 2014 hearing of the Congressional Executive Commission on China, Walz, then a Minnesota congressman, appeared to recall specific details of his trip to the region at the time. Now, it's been repeated in media reports, but contemporaneous newspaper reports, first resurfaced by the Washington Free Beacon, a conservative news outlet, placed Walz in Nebraska at that time.
Weird.
An issue of the Alliance Times-Herald dated May 16th, 1989, features a photo of Walz touring a Nebraska National Guard storeroom. The paper notes that Walz will take over the job of staffing the storeroom from a retiring guardsman and will be moving to Alliance, Nebraska. A separate newspaper article about Walz's planned trip to China, published by a Nebraska-based outlet in April 1989, reported that he planned to travel to China in early August of that year.
Okay.
So it's looking like Walz wasn't in China during the Tiananmen Square protest.
So a load of bullshit.
But why? Why do you have to lie about being in Tiananmen Square? It's like, that's the scary thing about a lot of these politicians. You lie for the sake of lying. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't advance you. It's like you do it because you get off on it just to see if you can get away with it. It's a creepy fucking way to go.
They just want to make shit up because they think it sounds good and nobody will hold them accountable because no one's held them accountable for jack shit.
Halada Vagina says, I just tuned in when Matt said he likes a well-rounded package. This show is the greatest. Yes. Gray Duckling with $2 says, heard there was a ping pong tournament at that time. Oh, yeah? Pumpkin Possums with $2 says, where? If you guys do a super chat tower explaining that entire joke back and forth, it will be the most impressed I've ever been with anyone. Ever. By the way, we're $30 away from knocking out tonight. We are doing the debate stream tonight, so make sure you get that number down to 0, and we'll call it another win for the toe. Gray Duckling already knocked out tomorrow night's goal, and we're going to do a movie watch-along. So be sure to join us on Rumble tomorrow night. So, yeah, Tim Walz, just a lying liar who lies.
Yeah.
Talking shit like he was I was in China during Tiananmen Square. Like, that makes you a badass. Like, just being at Tiananmen Square, like, oh, man, I was there. But, like, if you were there, are you really gaining anything in terms of, like, voters or anything? And if you weren't there, is anyone going to be? Nobody has ever not voted for someone because they went, I can't trust him. He wasn't at Tiananmen Square.
And if he was there, wouldn't it have come out before 1997? Or no, when did he say this? When did he bring up
He said it in Congress in 2014.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, that's something that probably would have come up long before that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a big event.
Jay Bra says, he meant he was there in his memory.
Oh, in spirit.
Yeah, in spirit, yes.
Thoughts and prayers.
Andrew's son says, but if don't lie when it don't matter, how will he be informed when it does matter? That's a good point. If you're going to be a politician, you got to lie about the little shit. Otherwise, how are you going to be ready to lie about the big stuff?
True.
That's a great point. See, we're small-brained. We didn't think about that. We actually have video of Tim Walz. It's actually just been sent to us. We do have video of Tim Walz at the Tiananmen Square protest. Here, let's.
I can't wait to see this.
Let's find this. Here it is. This is Tim Walz.
It was noontime today in the center of Beijing when a man walked to the middle of the Avenue of Eternal Peace, which, as it happened, was already occupied. He walked to the middle and stood there.
It doesn't look too peaceful.
That's Tim
Walz. The man
Walz.
was alone.
Yeah.
The tank was not. It wasn't just a single tank he stopped. There were 18 tanks and armored carriers in this convoy, and while he talked to the crew and ignored the gunfire, he stopped all of them. One man alone, of course, can't stop an army. Except for a moment, that's exactly what happened here. For 3 minutes in the middle of the day, an army was stopped by a man who stood still. A man who'd made up his mind, it seems, though why we just don't know. But when bystanders rushed in to save this stubborn soul, it wasn't easily done. He was pushed away at last, faceless in the crowd. Safe, we think, but in a city verging on calamity.
Wow.
God, he really did go great, didn't he?
I tell you what, that Tim Walz is a brave guy.
Yeah.
I can't believe he stood in front of that tank like that. Dude, I'm having a Berenstain Bears moment. Is anyone else having a moment where they swear to God that guy got ran over by the tank?
I don't know much about it, but for some reason I think I have a tank moment.
I thought for sure.
Like there was a big thing.
I thought I've seen in my head that guy get run over by that tank. I've been living 37 years thinking that, 35, that this Tiananmen Square protester was run over back then. What the fuck? I didn't know that he lived and they just pushed him out of the way.
No one knows what happened to him. Well, we saw he got pushed out of the fucking way. We know that much.
Yeah. West Coast Patriot Girl says, yeah, Mandela effect. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Other people are saying no.
I saw him get run over. What?
West Coast Patriot Girl says.
Well, from a girl.
Well, West Coast Patriot Girl and I maybe come from the same parallel dimension,
okay.
And we kind of we jumped streams, and we jumped into your guys' reality. And in our reality, the Chinese ran that motherfucker over. They didn't give a shit. Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go. $2 from Gray Duckling says, somewhere in a long thong. Day one didn't understand the joke and gave $2 and said, Pumpkin Popsums in Canada, bro. Pumpkin Popsum says, who was wearing it for $2? Thank you, Day One, for $2. Says, never mind, I'm wrong. Gray Duckling with $2 says, a man named Ching Chong. So here's the joke so far. Heard there was a ping pong tournament at halftime. Where? Somewhere in Long Thong. Who was wearing it? A man named Ching Chong. So they're butchering the fucking joke. Sam Show says, oh, thanks. You're shitting up our reality. Did you bring Nick with you? Are you responsible for this? No, it's not. Yeah, Hulkamasha Baby says, I thought he got run over too. Missed a beat. A lot of people thought that. I did years ago. It's fucked up, man. It's really fucked up. Oh, by the way, we're now $25 away from tonight. Thank you guys very much. We will be doing the debate in 20 minutes. Go ahead and knock out that last 25. We appreciate your guys' generosity. Matt did want to talk about something before we got into the debate tonight. Somebody texting in. Debate drinking game idea every time someone says cat lady. You want to fucking die tonight?
I can't die tonight. I have a job.
I can't die tonight.
I have 2 jobs.
We have just 2 more goals to knock out this week. Just Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. That's it.
There you go.
We're looking nice, guys. Thank you very much. Like I said, 25 away from calling her a W tonight for the old toe. Thank you. I almost muted myself on my own channel. There we go. Chad Buzamok says another drunk Aaron stream. No. I'm going to have a carbless or 2 tonight during the debate in honor of the 2 queers that are debating. And then We're
debating?
And then I'll go to bed. You wanted to talk about this strike. I haven't really read up on it too much. We're going to get into it tomorrow. We don't need to get into it tomorrow because it sounds like you're going to get into it tonight.
I caught a few details in the link I sent you, and it fucking irritated me.
Okay. Go ahead, set it up. This is your story.
So apparently all the dock workers across the fucking entire East Coast down into the Gulf of Mexico are all on strike, right? Thousands of them. Shutting down all the shipping shit going on. So, by the way, for everybody watching this, cost of goods are going to go up. Great, because that's what we need. More fucking, or higher prices on shit. The reason they are striking, they want higher wages and they want to be guaranteed that AI will not come in and take their jobs.
Well, you can't guarantee that.
That's what they want in the contract.
Sure. Okay.
Uh-huh. They were offered a 50% pay increase between now and like 2030.
How many percent?
50. They turned that the fuck down. The greedy fucks turned it down. Now they're not making minimum wage.
These are like the longshoremen, the dock workers.
Majority of them make $150,000 a year plus.
Nice.
And those greedy fucks are fucking us all over because they got a union. Fuck unions. Unions are fucking trash, and this is exactly why. Because we all get fucked by this.
You got
$150,000 a year. You turn down a 50% pay increase over the next 6 fucking years. They want 75%.
Holy shit.
Yeah, holy fucking shit.
I do too.
Yeah, so would I. Guess what? We don't have the power to do that, and it's unreasonable. It is fucking irrational. You're a greedy fuck to go, give me 75%. Know what? Fuck you. You're all fired, pulling the fucking scabs who will do the job for less than what you're already doing it for.
Well, Los Tejas Synthesizer says Aaron doesn't even know the entire supply chain was crumbling. Well, I was going to read about it tonight, getting tomorrow morning's show ready. I was thinking we were going to do the debate tonight, so I didn't really. I read up on stuff.
150K is not a lot if you live in New York City. Guess what?
True.
Figure out how to live on a budget. Bro. No, 150K isn't a lot. Your spouse is working too. You can fucking figure it out. Learn how to live within your fucking means. You don't have this amazing fucking job where, oh, I just can demand this and I should get paid $500,000 a year. No, fuck you. You run a fucking crane. Guess what? I can do that too. It's not worth $150,000 a year.
You know what I like about you going on rants like that?
What?
I can sit here and wonder if you heard me cutting chicken gassers over here. I've been sitting here farting up a storm and you had no idea. Warm ones, too.
Oh, boy. Great.
Yeah.
And it's not just New York City. It's all along the fucking coast, not just New York City.
Here, in their defense, I will say this. They've kind of got us by the balls, and they know it.
Yeah, and they're fucking assholes, and I hate unions for this. It's why the auto market is complete trash. It's why all the automakers have left the fucking country. Because unions are pricing the fucking auto companies out of America. You shouldn't get paid $100,000 a year to stand at a fucking assembly line as a big machine goes ka-chunk when you push a button every time a piece of metal goes into the press. You shouldn't.
You're not happy about this, the dock worker thing.
No, it's a load of shit.
Los Tejas says, hope you already bought your Christmas presents. Yeah, they might be going up. I bought my daughter Weird Al tickets, so I'm set. Maritime unions are corrupt, says Andrew Sun. Chad Buzemach, the 50% increase would mean nothing if they get replaced on 1 year, Matt. You dullard. The main sticking point would be no AI.
They're asking for no AI and 75% increase. They didn't go, cool, we'll take the 50% if you go no AI. No, they said, fuck you.
Did they get offered 50% and no AI? Or did they just get offered the 50%?
I do not know that fine detail, but there was no fucking counteroffer. There was no... Okay, if they want no AI, you're still asking for a lot. It's a lot of a fucking pay increase.
Chad Buzemach says, we all know Aaron knows nothing about anything. He brings it up, but we all learn together on the show. Right? We all get to learn. I don't hold myself above you. We get to learn as retards together. West Coast Patriot Girl says, the West Coast ports are supposed to be okay, but I'm sure we'll all be fucked somehow. Los Tejas Synthesizer says all of them are going to be replaced by machines.
Great. So how does that make your job worth $200,000 a year plus? If a fucking machine can just come in and replace you.
So if you were negotiating against the dock workers, you'd basically be firing up the machines at this point. I see.
I mean, why not?
Chad Buzemach says, Aaron, are you listening to this budget and learning to live within your means? Look, I had a few things happen to me recently that cost a little bit of money. I'm going to pay them down and we're going to lower the goal. Trust me. Trust me. Thank you, Benny, for meeting with me yesterday.
I'm sorry. You just sound like a greedy fuck. I want 75% more over the next 6 years.
You know how much more I've gotten over the last 4 years?
75% less?
0. I've gotten 0% over the last 4 years, and I ain't complaining. Mr. Beat says the price of a house doubled in the last 4 years. Everyone deserves more pay.
Do you know what that does to everything? You can't just fucking hand out more money. It just drives the cost of shit up.
Well, that's what we did. That's why the cost of shit went up. We've been borrowing money at 0%
So is the
interest.
solution to hand out more money?
No.
Okay. That's my point.
$5 from Chevrolet JB says, all this tells me is they know AI can replace them. Yeah, they want guarantees that their jobs are going to be there in a couple years. I mean, you can understand
Make
that.
yourself valuable. Do something AI can't do.
They're going to be able to write symphonies and shit pretty soon. They're getting better and better at that shit every day. Don't say that. Don't be like, oh, be irreplaceable.
So,
They're going to be able to do everything. We'll be
say,
watching AI football on
I'm not
Sundays.
against squashing AI, by the way.
You want to go to war with AI?
Dude, I would love to fucking
Should we
just
nuke it?
fucking nuke AI right now.
Like iRobot?
Yeah, just fucking kill all AI.
I like that.
There
You want to
should
do
be-
this? You want to have like the iRobot war?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not I'm pro nuking AI. I'm pro that. They're still assholes.
That's exciting.
They could go like, "Hey, we want to be guaranteed, no AI is going to come in here and we want a reasonable raise."
Yeah.
75 fucking percent ain't goddamn reasonable.
Put them at about $200K a year.
The entire nation.
What are you doing? Are you doing an end zone
I'm
dance?
twitchy. Sorry, I
What's
had
wrong with your
caffeine. I had
shoulders?
caffeine. My shirt was feeling weird.
You're
I'm
literally
just
just going like this.
I'm twitchy. I had
You
caffeine.
are.
I had it's fucking caffeine.
Fucking chill for a minute. We're going to watch a debate in 10 minutes here. We're going to have a good time tonight.
I'm
We're
gonna
going to
piss
relax.
in a few minutes too because I had that whole thing in Rockstar, and so I'm fidgety. I gotta pee too.
But you're good. You think this whole thing's going to get sorted out?
I think we're all fucked for a while.
Okay.
And stupid Biden, I'm not gonna step in and fucking squash this. No,
His first name's Joe.
no, it's stupid.
Oh, it is stupid. It's stupid Biden.
It's stupid. Well, he's
I'm wrong.
stupid now. He's got dementia.
I'm wrong.
Stupid Biden.
He's stupid.
Apparently, he killed something with the fucking rail lines that were protests or whatever. But
I like it when you come prepared like
Yeah.
that. That's always helpful.
uh
Rusty Grammer says, I work for a private company. That was a good rant. Got a good rant in there. You don't
All
like the
I fucking
longshoremen.
hate unions.
You say the dock workers can go fuck themselves. You're anti-labor. We know that now. You're pro big corporation.
Sure, that's what it is. If that's why you're reading into it, sure.
Rusty Grammer says, I work for a private company. Our wages and benefits are the same as other local unions, except we don't pay dues to line the pockets of the leaders at the top, and we get treated better.
Yeah.
Buffalo Jockey with a great point, Matt. Aaron's sensitive to twitchy employees. You got to give me that.
Okay, I see why I'm triggering you now.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And I just want to be heard.
Okay.
wanna
I
be
hear you.
seen.
I hear you.
Chad Buzamok says, Matt, AI knows about you. I asked it about Matt from Steel Toe, and this is what it said. Matt Poster is a notable figure from the Steel Toe Morning Show, a podcast that blends humor, commentary, and... Did it really? How do you ask? Ask
Is it
AI
Chat GPT?
a question. Ask anything, get true answers. AskAI.com. Who is Matt?
Uh-oh.
According to Ask AI. I want to play the audio. Uh-oh. This one says, based on the information available, there does not appear to be a notable individual named Matt Poster. Oh, no. You don't, they just do Matt versus Glossy. True with Matthew. Is it 1 T or 2?
It's 1 T.
How is it? Okay.
I don't know. Ask my mother. My mother decided that I had to be different.
No, term
It's
Matthew.
a Matthew poster.
Yeah.
It's a poster of Matthew.
Nothing. All right, here, let's
What?
see.
Go to Chat GPT. That's the big one.
Who is Aaron Imholt? Come on.
Oh, you came
there
up.
he is. Aaron Imholt
Shock.
is a 37-year-old podcast host based in Minnesota, known for his work on the Steel Toe Morning Show, which is a YouTube podcast that has garnered approximately 13,000 subscribers. He has gained notoriety for his controversial style, often described as a shock jock, where he makes provocative statements that some audience consider to be racist, homophobic, and misogynistic.
Wait. Do you know the guy that wrote this?
Recently, Imholt has come under legal scrutiny after being arrested for allegedly committing a crime. Hey, thank you for saying allegedly. Public perception and controversy. Oh, boy.
That's funny.
Oh, Imholt's public persona has been marked by controversy and conflict, following personal issues, including the end of his marriage to April Anderson, and allegations of domestic abuse from his ex-wife. No, there weren't. He has faced increased scrutiny both personally and professionally. His behavior on his podcast has drawn criticism from various quarters, with some observers noting that he has increasingly crossed lines that were previously considered acceptable in his comedic style. In summary, Aaron Imholt is a controversial figure in the podcasting world whose recent legal troubles have brought significant attention to both his personal life and professional conduct.
There you are in your basement.
There's me in my basement just being a good boy. I'm notable as fuck, dude.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
I am a notable motherfucker, that's for sure. All right, I got to catch up with some of these super chats. Funeral director with $2 says Latina haters equal micro penis disordered individuals.
Why don't you go ask Grinch Girl? She'll confirm I'm not.
Pumpkin Popsums with $5 says King Kong went to Hong Kong to play ping pong with his ding dong. For fuck's sake. Pray by 12 with $1.99 says please cover North Carolina tragedy. Mainstream media not IDM'd. All right, I will check it out. Posterior attention with $1.99. Thank you. $5 from Gray Duckling says, wait, you're doing the debate? Can I get back my 180? New Boot goofing. I'm staying here. No, we're doing your movie tomorrow, like you said.
That's why he said new boot.
Ghost of Speedy with $2. Well, I mean, I would say drugs did, but, you know, I mean, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I tell you what, I wasn't exactly trying to keep it. But, hey, I appreciate you.
You took the S off of steel on that, by the way. I don't know if you
What?
noticed that. It says teal toe.
Where?
The other one you did.
Oh, Teal Toe Media
Teal-
on
yeah,
Venmo.
yeah.
That's not what our Venmo is.
No.
Steel Toe Media.
There you go.
On Venmo. $10 away from knocking it out tonight. Thank you guys very much. Elza Belza says, I asked AI Genesis about Steel Toe. It said it was hosted by Chrissy, Aaron, and April. Jesus. Chevrolet JB with $1. Says, worked for a union once. If you want a raise, you got to ask for one. Ask for a raise for everyone. If you want a raise.
Yeah,
Okay.
unions are trash. They had their place. They had it. I get that. Not anymore.
Andrew's son says, I want it electronically recorded that I support our future AI overlords. I'm in a union and I 100% agree with you, says Miss Debate. There you go. All right, guys, before the debate starts, we're $10 away from knocking out tonight. Ghost of Speedy. Ugh, that sounds fucking gross. Thank you for the $2, buddy. Oof. Thank God I am not there. If that's something you want, you go be a degenerate weirdo. My days are done. I got my taste, and it is fucking over, bro. I love when people come in and say something fucking disgusting like it's an own, and you're like, good. Not bothering me. Sorry, Ghost of Speedy. I know that it probably took a lot for you to work up to that, and for me to no-sell it like that probably sucks, but what are you going to do? Hey, I wanted to play this for you because you don't like the dock workers striking.
Right.
This is the head of their union, and this is what he said in an interview about this
I'm going
strike.
to fucking love this guy.
I'm going to have you listen to this, then we're going to go to debate coverage, all right?
But today's world, it's changing into the future. They're not making millions no more. They're making billions. And they're spending it fast as they make it. I want a piece of that for my men. Because when they made their most...
By the way, I don't get where people call our union bosses mafia-type strongmen, hitmen types. I don't know where they get that idea from.
No
this guy
idea.
sounds like a straight shooter.
money was during COVID. When my men had to go to work on those piers every single day, when everybody stayed home and went to work.
Oh, you mean they got to actually make a wage and pay their fucking bills? Poor them. Poor fucking them.
And they also got stimulus checks.
A lot of other people went to fucking work to pay their bills too. Oh my God. Oh, you were at risk of getting the sniffles. Fuck you.
You don't like him, do you?
No, I hate this fucking guy.
They died out there with the virus. We all got sick with the virus. We kept them going.
They might have died. A lot of dock workers are obese.
Great. So they have pre-existing conditions.
No.
Canada, to Maine, to Texas, Great Lakes, Puerto Rico, now the Bahamas. Everybody went to work during COVID. Nobody stayed home. Well, I want to be compensated for that.
You
I'm not
were.
asking for
You
the
went to
world.
work.
They know
You
what
got
I
a
want.
paycheck.
They know what they want, and if they don't, well, then I have to go into the street, and we have to fight for what we rightfully deserve.
It is fantastic that this
Really?
guy sounds like a mafia boss. Like it's like a mafia strongman.
You're extorting the entire fucking country based on unreasonable demands.
These people today don't know what a strike is.
Yeah. Matt.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship.
Sounds like shitbag extortionism.
It does sound like he's happy about this.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Yeah.
dude. He's so fucking hard right now.
He's got-
pre-chum. Just
he's got-
pre-cum. Pre-chum.
He's got the-
because he's a dock worker. It's pre-chum.
He's got their union dues in his pocket already.
Oh yeah, this guy's fucking just rock
He's
hard.
They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's
Good.
not coming in.
Guess what? You know what?
They lose
It
their
affects all
job.
your shitbag workers too. So the longer we fucking hold out, fuck you. You don't get your shit either.
As the person who's just kind of watching this right now and watching him and watching you, I can
Yeah.
kind of see the microcosm of what's going to happen in this country if this strike happens. And I have to say,
No, it's
I am-
happening.
I'm terrified.
Yeah.
Because
You should be.
Your attitude has me scared,
Uh-huh.
and his attitude has me scared. And I feel like I'm going to be caught in the middle.
You will be, because I can live on virtually nothing. It's easy.
I mean,
I can live on scraps.
it's time to start looking for scraps then, I guess.
Well, yes.
Jesus. All right, guys, we got to get to this debate. We've only got $10 left in tonight's goal. So during the debate, over the next hour and a half, if you guys want to help us knock that out, that would be cool. Okay, let's get in there. Let's go vice presidential debate. Who's got the best live stream? You guys want to watch NBC do it? That'll be fun. Let's
Last
watch.
debate we will see before Election Day. Election Day now just 35 days away, 5 weeks.
We've
Thank
gotta set the
Christ I
table
wanna
here
be
what
done.
People will be looking at and what we'll all be talking about in a little while. We will have in-depth analysis once the debate concludes.
Oh,
here
great.
on NBC. But tonight's event is hosted by CBS News.
You know what I really need? I really fucking need NBC's in-depth.
Between the
I need NBC's in-depth analysis. These are the sharp tacks that I need telling me what I just heard. That's the funniest part. They're like, we'll offer in-depth analysis after the debate. No, you won't. You'll sit there and watch the same thing we saw with our own eyeballs, and then you'll tell us what we should be thinking about it. And I'm guessing that's going to be Walz won and JD Vance is an asshole racist.
The vice presidential debate about to be on. Let's go to CBS Network Studios, West 57th, here in the heart of Manhattan, and watch this debate.
Presidential debate.
All right, guys, I'm gonna move the chat here over so we can interact with you guys while this is on. Thank you very much to Adam Simon gifting a membership. Appreciate that. Ghost of Speedy still mauling in the chat. Sorry, I don't know. Did I steal your girl? I don't know. So weird. Maybe your dog. I don't know what you're into. But thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate that. You've helped our show out immensely tonight. We've just got $5 left before we knock out this evening. So thank you guys for that. All right, let's get everything all settled here. Let's get the debate up and running. There's the chat. Okay, good.
Quick question. May I steal one of yours?
Oh, you're gonna have one of my strawberry margarita carbless?
I'm asking because I saw it. I'm like, I want to try one of the tequila ones.
Fine, go ahead.
You want to have a black cherry?
Yeah. Is it cold?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I'll
in your
have-
fridge.
Guys, I'm gonna have a black cherry carbless if you guys don't mind. A nice vodka carbless.
Yeah.
SP gets here in time. She can have a carbless.
to mute the candidates' microphones.
Oh shit, they
What?
got
Decorum.
They're doing
We
muted
will
mics
share the
too.
questions or topics with the campaigns. The stage is set.
Yeah, bullshit, they
Governor,
didn't share the
Senator,
questions.
thank you for joining us. Let's get started. Tonight, our country is facing several unfolding crises. The Middle East is on the brink of war. Americans are suffering from the catastrophic impact of Hurricane Helene. And now a labor strike as 25,000 dock workers from Maine to
Other than that,
Texas
Mrs.
are
Lincoln,
picketing.
how was the play?
We'll begin tonight with the Middle East. Margaret.
Thank you, Nora. Earlier today, Iran launched its largest attack yet on Israel, but
World War III. World War III. World War III. World War III.
President Biden has deployed more than 40,000 U.S. military personnel and assets to that region.
EC Dub. EC Dub. EC Dub. EC Dub.
Iran is weakened, but the U.S. still considers it the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world, and it has drastically reduced the time it would take to develop a nuclear weapon. It is
He's
down
hardcore.
now
He's
to 1
hardcore.
or
He's
2 weeks'
hardcore.
time. Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the Situation Room, would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Go ahead.
Thank you, and thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started.
Tim Walz
October
looks
7th,
like
Hamas
stress.
terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners.
Oh, my.
Israel's ability.
I ran from the war in Afghanistan and Iraq.
Fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the state.
Hey, we're sucking Israel
Wow,
dick.
yeah.
Yeah.
Expand
Along with
Israel.
Our, Israeli partners and our coalition able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago. A nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes.
Ooh,
is
nearly
not what we
80.
need
The
in this
people
country.
who are
You're an
But
old
it's
fuck
not
too,
just
you
that.
gray-haired
Have an
It's those
bastard.
who are
82-year-old
closest to Donald
president in
Trump
there right now.
that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous.
Wait,
His
you
chief
mean
of
how he
staff, John Kelly,
squashed all chances
said
of
that
war
he was
when
the
he had
most
4
flawed
years?
human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries of defense and his national security advisors said he should be nowhere near the White House.
Oh, you mean
Imagine
the other
that-
ones that are pushing the fucking military-industrial complex?
I was just going to say the same thing. You beat me to it.
Fit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions
This guy's
to
a
bring
fucking
them
comedian.
together. Understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards North Korea, when we start to see that type of fickleness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed. And as the vice president said today
We will back Israel no matter how many war crimes they commit and no matter how much they try to instigate war with a nuclear power.
And would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
So, Margaret, I want to answer the question. First of all, thanks, Governor. Thanks to CBS for hosting the
Talk about
debate.
the
And
Kellys.
thanks, most importantly, to the American people who are watching this evening.
I think
and
if you have
caring enough about
cats,
this country
we should
to
send
pay
you to
attention this
Israel.
vice presidential debate. I want to answer the question, but I want to actually give an introduction to myself a little bit because I recognize a lot of Americans don't know who either one of us are. I was raised in a working-class family. My mother required food assistance for periods of her life. My grandmother required
Welfare
Social Security
queen!
help
Your
to
mom's
raise
a
me,
welfare
and She
queen!
raised me in part because my own mother struggled with addiction for a big chunk of my early life. I went to college
I married
on
his
the GI
mom.
Bill after I enlisted in the Marine Corps and served in Iraq. And so I stand here asking to be your vice president with extraordinary gratitude for this country, for the American dream that made it possible for
Well,
me
you
to
see,
live my
baby.
dreams. And most importantly, I know that a lot of you are worried about the chaos
And
in
there
the
will
world
be
and the
gorilla
feeling that the
shit all
American
over the
dream is
internet.
unattainable. I want to try to convince you tonight over the next 90 minutes that if we get better leadership in the White House, if we get Donald Trump back in the White House, the American dream is going to be attainable once again.
Well, you see.
Now, to answer this particular question, we have to remember that as much as Governor Walz just accused Donald Trump of being an agent of chaos, Donald Trump actually delivered stability
Nick
in the world,
Ricada
and he
told me
did it
he's an
by
agent of
establishing
chaos. They're all
effective
wrong.
Deterrence. People were afraid of stepping out of line. Iran, which launched this attack, has received over $100 billion in unfrozen assets thanks to the Kamala Harris administration.
Shit, any
What do they
cavemen
use
in
that
there?
money for? They use it to buy weapons that they're now launching against our
Encino
allies.
Man.
And God forbid potentially launching against the United States as well. Donald Trump recognized that for people to fear the United States, you needed peace through strength. They needed to recognize that if they got
He's
out of
not wrong.
line,
Like, you
the
should
United
be a little
States
bit of a
global
psycho.
leadership
Yeah.
would put stability
It
and
works.
peace back in the world.
They're
But
all
you asked
psychos.
about a preemptive
How do you
strike,
address a
Margaret,
psycho?
And I want to
Be a
answer the
psycho.
question. Look, it is up to Israel what they think they need to do to keep their country safe, and we should support our allies
God
wherever they are when
damn
they're
it.
fighting the bad guys. I think that's the right approach.
This is why I
to take
can't
with the
stand
Israel
this
question.
shit. Listen how they talk
Both
like
sides.
such simple retards. Like, if they want to fight the bad guys.
Yeah.
So we're always the good guys.
Was in office. We'll sometimes hear a revisionist history, but when Donald Trump was in office, it was Donald Trump who we had a coalition of nations that had boxed Iran's nuclear program in, the inability to advance it. Donald Trump pulled that program and put nothing else in its place. So Iran is closer to a nuclear weapon than they were before because of Donald Trump's fickle leadership.
Why didn't
And
Joe
when
Biden
Iran
get back
shot
into
down
it?
an American aircraft in international airspace, Donald Trump tweeted, because that's the standard diplomacy.
Didn't Donald Trump whack like their top general on an airport tarmac?
Yeah.
Fall near U.S. troops, and they received traumatic brain injuries. Donald Trump wrote it off as headaches. Look, our allies understand that Donald Trump is fickle. He will go to whoever has the most flattery or
Why
where
are
it
you using
makes
the word
sense to
fickle?
him. Steady
He's
leadership
from Minnesota.
like
We
you
love
witnessed
that
today,
word.
like you witnessed in
I've never
April.
used that word in my
Both
life.
Iranian attacks were repelled. Our coalition is strong, and we need the steady leadership that Kamala Harris is providing.
Citizen M says Rekieta is an agent of chaos in terms of providing stability for his children, or should I say failing to provide. Citizen M, I am really disappointed in you, and you know why.
Bill. He recently said, just 5 days ago, the U.S. must now make a diplomatic deal with Iran because the consequences are impossible. Did he make a mistake? You have 1 minute.
Well, first of all, Margaret, diplomacy is not a dirty word, but I think that's something that Governor Walz just said is quite extraordinary. You yourself just said Iran is as close to a nuclear weapon today as they have ever been. And Governor Walz, you blame Donald Trump, who has been the vice president for the last 3.5 years. And the answer is your running mate, not mine. Donald Trump consistently made the world more secure.
Jamal's
Now, we
scared.
talk about what the sequence of events that led us to where we are right now, and you can't ignore October the 7th, which I appreciate Governor Walz bringing up. But when did Iran and Hamas and their proxies attack Israel? It was during the administration of Kamala Harris. So Governor Walz can criticize Donald Trump's tweets, but effective, smart diplomacy and peace through strength is how you bring stability back to a very broken world. Donald Trump has already done it once before. Ask yourself at home.
Walz just looks like a fucking grub.
When was the last time
These debates are really boring when Trump's not like saying crazy shit.
have a major conflict break out?
Dude.
The only answer is during the 4 years that Donald Trump was president.
God damn.
Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. Nora?
Margaret, thank you. Let's
Why
turn
did
now
they
to
say that?
Hurricane Helene. The storm.
By the way, thank you, Coyote NV with $4.99 says heading to London for Vikings game. Want to tag along? I'd love to. I can't leave the state without court permission.
How about the
Jackass.
country?
Climate change makes these hurricanes larger, stronger,
shit.
and more deadly because of the historic rainfall. Senator Vance, according to CBS News polling, 7 in 10 Americans and more than 60% of Republicans under the age of 45 favor
It's a
the U.S.
weird
taking steps to try and reduce climate change. Senator, what responsibility would the Trump administration have to try and
He's got
reduce
icy blue eyes.
the impact
They
of climate
are
change?
icy.
So does
I'll give you
he.
2 minutes.
They both look like
Sure. So
White
first of all,
Walkers.
let's start with the hurricane because it's an
white, you
unbelievable,
know? I'm
unspeakable
white.
human tragedy. I just saw today actually a photograph of 2 grandparents on a roof with a 6-year-old child, and it was the last photograph ever
get 'em
taken
off of there.
as
Tell
the
'em to
roof
quit
collapsed.
horsing around.
Fucking
Those
rescue
innocent
'em. Why are you
people
just
lost
looking at
their
a
lives, and
picture?
I'm sure Governor Walz joins me in saying our hearts go out to those
Look
innocent
at
people.
this
Our prayers go out to
photograph.
them, and we want as
This
robust
hurricane
and
makes
aggressive
me
as a federal
laugh.
response as we can get to save as many lives as possible, and then of course afterwards to help the people in those communities rebuild. I mean, these are communities that I love. Some of them I know very personally in Appalachia, all across the Southeast. They need their government to do their job, and I commit that when Donald Trump is president again, the government will put the citizens of this country first when they suffer from a disaster. Now, Nora, you asked about
Somebody had
climate
a very
change. I think
funny
it's a-
meme today. They said
Yeah.
how to get the Biden administration to care about North Carolina. It just crossed out North Carolina on the map and called it Ukraine. That was good.
Trump and I support clean air, clean water. We want the environment to be cleaner and safer.
Controversial
but one of the
as
things
fuck,
that I've
dude.
noticed some of our Democratic friends talking a lot about is a concern about carbon emissions. This idea that carbon emissions drives all of the climate change. Well, let's just say that's true.
We're
just
all
for the sake
carbon.
of argument, so we're not arguing about weird science. Let's just say that's true.
Weird science.
Well, if you believe that, what would you want to do? The answer is that you'd want to reshore as much American manufacturing as possible. And
You know what I
wanna
say about the
produce as
Israel
much
situation?
energy as possible
Weird
in the United
Jews.
States of America, because we're the cleanest economy in the entire world.
Yay.
What
Yeah.
have Kamala Harris's policies actually led to? More energy production in China, more manufacturing overseas, more doing business in some of the dirtiest parts of the entire world. And when I say that, I mean the
I can hear it now. NBC going, did he just call people in China dirty? Racist.
Getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is to double down and invest in American workers and the American.
Unless it's eights, then you split them.
Or
This is done exactly the opposite.
Then you split them too.
Yeah.
You have 2 minutes to respond.
Well, we got close to an agreement because all those things are happening. Look, first of all,
I
it
thought
is
that.
a
I'm like, you
horrific
fucked up, Vance. I'm like,
tragedy,
you just talked about how great
with
we've
this
been doing on
hurricane,
carbon
and
emissions.
My heart goes out to the folks that are down there in contact with the governors. I serve as co-chair of the Council of Governors as we work together on these emergency managements. Governors know no partisanship. They work together. So all of the governors and the emergency responders are on the ground. Those happen on the front end. The federal government comes in, makes sure they're there to that we recover, but we're still in that phase where we need to make sure that they're staying there, staying focused. Now, look, coming back to the climate change issue, there's no doubt this thing roared onto the scene faster and stronger than anything we've seen. Senator Vance has said that there's a climate problem in the past. Donald Trump called it a hoax and then joked that
I don't know, this last September in Minnesota, if that's climate change, sign me the fuck up.
No shit.
We've seen out of the Harris administration.
Doing my part, my
now, the
Jeep gets
Biden-Harris
11 miles to the
administration
gallon.
has seen this investment. We've seen massive investments, the biggest in global history that we've seen in the Inflation Reduction Act, has created
fart
jobs
a
all
lot.
across the country. 2,000 in Jeffersonville, Ohio, taking the EV
I'm a
technology that we
methane
invented
producer.
and making it here. 200,000 jobs across the country.
Damn.
The largest solar manufacturing plant
Solar
in North
shit.
America sits in Minnesota.
You're killing
But my farmers
farmland
know
and
climate
putting
change is
oh
real.
my God.
They've seen 500-year droughts, 500-year floods back to back. But what they're doing is that
Oh my God, 500 years. Somebody should put an end to those. They shouldn't be lasting that long. I think you're doing farming wrong.
It's almost like that was happening before we were doing any of this shit we're doing then, if it was 500 years ago.
No, they're saying once every 500 years.
Oh.
the solution for us is to continue to move forward, that climate change is real. Reducing our impact is absolutely critical, but this is not a false choice. You can do that at the same time you're
He made
creating
the
the jobs
point
that we're
of
seeing
how
all
to
across
reduce
the
that.
country.
Nuclear.
That's exactly what this administration
Produce things
has done.
here where we are
seeing
cleaner.
us becoming an energy superpower for the future, not just the current. And that's what absolutely makes sense. And then we start thinking about how do we mitigate these disasters.
Vance won that one.
Thank you. Senator, I want to give
My
you an
opinion.
opportunity to
I'll be very honest with you.
Uh-huh.
I would feel more comfortable with the country if it was these two in charge versus the other two. Like if the Democratic nominee was Walz and Vance was the Republican nominee, I think I'd feel more comfortable.
Climate change is serious. What they would be doing is more manufacturing and more energy production in the United States of America, and that's not what they're doing. So clearly, Kamala Harris
Look at him fucking
herself
eyeballing him.
doesn't
What the
believe her
fuck?
own rhetoric on this. If she did, she would actually agree
No,
with
they've got
Donald
a
Trump's
picture of a
energy
horse
policies.
cock
Now,
off stage.
Something Governor Walz said I think is important.
That's
to
why
touch
he's
upon,
drooling.
because
Look at him.
when we talk about clean energy, I think that's a slogan that often the Democrats will use here. And I'm talking, of course, about the Democratic leadership. And the real issue is that if you're spending hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars of American taxpayer money on solar panels that are made in China, number one, you're going to make the economy dirtier. We should be making more of those solar panels here in the United States of America. Some of them are, Tim, but a lot of them are being made overseas in China, especially the components that go into those solar panels. So if
Look
you
at his
really
face.
want to make the environment cleaner, you've got to invest in more energy production. We haven't built a nuclear facility, I think, one in the past 40 years. Gas, we got to invest more in it. Kamala
Focus,
Harris
Tim.
has done the opposite. That's raised energy prices and also meant that we're doing
Senator,
worse
your
by the
time
climate.
is up. Governor, would you like to respond?
Well, look, we're producing more natural gas than we ever have. There's no moratorium.
Yeah, we
We're
are.
producing more oil, but the folks know. And like I said again, these are not liberal folks. These are not folks that are Green New Deal folks. These are farmers.
These are Jews.
that have been drought one year, massive flooding the next year. They understand that it makes sense. Look, our number one
People are saying
export
Chrissy in the
cannot
chat.
be topsoil from erosion from these massive storms. We saw it in Minnesota this summer. And thinking about how do we respond to that, we're thinking ahead on this. And what Kamala Harris has been able to do in Minnesota, we're starting to weatherproof some of these things. The infrastructure law that was passed allows
We're
us to
weatherproofing
think
the
about
farmland by
mitigation in the
wiping it
future.
out and putting
How do
solar
we make
panels
sure
in
we're
its place.
protecting
By the way, somebody in the chat is accusing Walz of being on coke. Let's bring in our expert, Nick Rekieta, joining us now live. How are
Take the oil company executives to Mar-a-Lago, say, give me money for my campaign, and I'll let you do whatever you want. We can be smarter about that, and an all-above energy policy is exactly what she's doing, creating those jobs right here.
Governor, your time is up. The overwhelming consensus among scientists is that the Earth's climate is warming at an unprecited rate. Margaret, thank you.
Can you address this $17 billion surplus that he fucking squandered away?
But that's the thing about it, like solar power and stuff. They keep saying it created this many jobs. It's like, yeah, but when you take away like the tax subsidies and the government money, how are those jobs sustainable?
Right.
Deportation plan in American history.
Well, they're sustainable
and to
because
use the
$17
U.S.
billion
military to
surplus.
do so.
Here's,
Could you be more specific
immigration.
about exactly how this will work?
Bust them all
For
back.
example, would you deport parents who have entered the U.S. illegally and separate them from any of their children who were born on U.S.
No,
soil?
the kid, no, send them back.
So first of all, Margaret, before we talk about deportations, we have to stop the bleeding. We have a historic immigration crisis because Kamala Harris started and said that she wanted to undo all of Donald Trump's border policies. 94 executive orders suspending deportations, decriminalizing illegal aliens, massively increasing the asylum fraud that exists in our system. That has opened the floodgates. And what it's meant is that a lot of fentanyl is coming into our country. I had a mother who struggled with
Shut up,
opioid
Nick.
addiction
Talk
and
about
has
the
gotten
drugs.
clean.
We don't care.
I don't want people who are struggling with addiction to be deprived of their second chance because Kamala Harris let in fentanyl into our communities at record levels. So you've got to stop the bleeding. You've got to re-implement Donald Trump's border policies, build the wall, re-implement deportations. And that gets me to your point, Margaret, about what do we actually do? So we've got 25 million illegal aliens who are here in the country. What do we do with them? I think the first thing that we do is we start with the criminal migrants. About 1 million of those
Not a bad
people
place
have
to
committed
start.
some form of crime in addition to crossing the border illegally. I think you start with deportations on those folks. And then I think you make it harder for illegal aliens to undercut the wages of American workers. A lot of people will go home if they can't work for less than minimum wage in our own country. And by the way, that'll be really good for our workers who just want to earn a fair wage for doing a good day's work.
Sounds
And the
kind of
final
commie.
point, Margaret, is you asked about family separation. Right now in this country, Margaret, we have 320,000 children that the Department of Homeland Security has effectively lost. Some of them have been sex trafficked. Some of them hopefully are at homes with their families.
Patrick Melton just picked up his phone.
Trafficking mules. The real family separation policy in this country is unfortunately Kamala Harris's wide open southern border. And I'd ask
You talking about her twat? Did you just make a Kamala Harris cunt joke?
Oh, it's just all fucking loose and open.
Yeah, wide open southern border, if you catch me drift.
policies. I wish that she would do that. It
Look
would be
at
good
this
for
fucking-
all of us.
Governor, do you care to respond to any of those specific allegations?
I mean,
including
shit.
that the vice president is, quote, letting in fentanyl?
By the way, Jay Bra says, I'm not voting for Walz, but in my unbiased opinion, he's winning so far.
Children.
The drug mule is not true, but I will say about this, about
Okay.
fentanyl, because
I
this
guess
is the
if that's your
crisis of this, the
opinion.
opioid crisis. And the good news on this is the last 12 months saw the largest decrease in opioid deaths in our nation's history.
Yes, we
30%
killed them all.
decrease in
Ah.
Ohio, but there's still more work to do. But let's go back to this on immigration. Kamala Harris was the Attorney General of the largest state and a border state in California. She's the only person in
And
this
black
race
people
who
behave.
prosecuted transnational gangs for human trafficking and drug interventions. But look, we all want to solve this. Most of us want to solve this, and that is the United States Congress. That's the Border Patrol agents. That's the Chamber of Commerce. That's most Americans out here. That's why we had the
Democratic Party still needs them for votes, though.
on immigration that this nation's seen. It was crafted by a conservative senator from Oklahoma, James Lankford. I know him. He's super conservative, but he's a man of principle, wants to get it done. Democrats and Republicans.
They're always men of principle when they agree with them.
Yeah.
Forget that it was a dead giveaway to Israel, Ukraine, and Pakistan. And a
Yeah,
bunch
that's
of
the whole
other
problem with that
countries.
fucking border policy.
Yeah.
Kamala Harris helped get there. 1,500 new border agents, detection for drugs, DOJ money to speed up.
You gotta call 'em out.
These
Gotta call 'em out
the
on this shit.
adjudications on this, just what America wants. But as soon as I was getting ready to pass and actually tackle this, Donald Trump said no. told them to vote against it because it gives him
No, because you call it a border bill, and the thing that got the least amount of money in the whole fucking bill was the fucking border.
It's true. It was like $200 billion. 60 of it went to the border.
The executive branch. So look, we have the options to do this. Donald Trump had 4 years. He had 4 years to do this.
And immigration went down to record levels.
He did it fucking better.
You a big, beautiful wall, and Mexico will pay for it. Less than 2% of that wall got built, and
You didn't realize
pay
Mexico
a
was
dime.
broke.
But here we are again, 9 years after he came
You
down
need to sell
that
them big
escalator,
asses on the OnlyFans.
dehumanizing people.
Well, it's because
and
of
telling them what he
Kamala's
was going to
wide-open
do.
southern
As far as the
border.
deportation plan, at one point,
That took all the
Senator
OnlyFans
Vance
money.
said
I
it was
got
so
it.
unworkable to be laughable. So that's where we're at. Pass the bill, she'll sign it.
Governor, your time is up. Senator, the question was, will you separate parents from their children, even if their kids are U.S. citizens?
We know that's the
You have
question.
1 minute.
Margaret, my point is that we already have massive child separations thanks to Kamala Harris's open border. And I didn't accuse Kamala Harris
talking about a
of
cunt.
inviting drug mules. I said that she enabled the Mexican drug cartels to operate freely in this country. And we know that they use children as drug mules. And it is a disgrace, and it has to stop. Look, I think what Tim said just doesn't pass the smell test. For 3 years, Kamala Harris went out bragging that she was going to undo Donald Trump's border policy. She did exactly that. We had a record number of illegal crossings. We had a record number of fentanyl coming into our country. And now that she's running for president, or a few months before, she says that somehow she got religion and cared a lot about a piece of legislation. The only thing that she did when she became the vice president, when she became the appointed border czar, was to undo 94 Donald Trump executive actions that opened the border. This problem is leading to massive problems in the United States of America.
I agree with Chad Buzumuk since he's repeating himself. This definitely isn't as entertaining as the presidential debate. I agree with that, but I think this is more informative.
It actually is.
Yeah. By the way, 7 $1 donations in a row. Let's get that last $5. Thanks, guys.
There we go.
Or mass deportations.
Look, we fixed.
Oh, never mind. We knocked it out. DS with $1.99. Tampons. My family loves fishing of them. Wait. Coyote NV says Walz looks like a man returning soup at a deli.
Saying I will create stories to bring attention to this. That vilified a large number of people who were here legally in the community of Springfield. The Republican governor said, it's not true, don't do it. There's consequences for this. There's consequences. We could come together. Senator Langford did it.
Right
we could come
now.
together and solve this if we didn't
Thank you,
let
DS.
Donald Trump continue to make it an issue. And the consequences in Springfield were the governor had to send state law enforcement to escort kindergartners to school. I believe Senator Vance
Were those kindergartners smuggling geese?
Donald Trump and not working together to find a solution, it becomes a talking point. And when it becomes a talking point
Solution
like
is don't
this,
bring him here.
we dehumanize and villainize other human beings.
Are they humans?
Governor, your time is up. Senator, I'll give you 1 minute, but let me just ask you the question first. The governor has made the point, and I think as a sitting lawmaker, you know that Congress controls the purse strings.
He's
and
standing
any
right now,
funding.
thank you.
So you have said repeatedly that Donald Trump would, through executive action, solve this. Do you disagree that Congress controls the purse strings and would need to support many of the changes that you would actually want to implement? You have 1 minute.
Look, Margaret, first of all, the gross majority of what we need to do at the southern border is just empowering law enforcement to do their job. I've been to the southern border more than our border czar, Kamala Harris, has been, and it's actually heartbreaking
It's
because
fucking
the Border
horsecock
Patrol
again. Look at them
agents
eyes.
just want to be
Jesus
empowered to do
Christ.
their job. Of course, additional resources would help, but most of this is about the president and the vice president empowering our law enforcement to say, if you try to come across the border illegally, you've got to stay in Mexico, you've got to go back through proper channels. Now, Governor Walz brought up the community of Springfield, and he's very worried about the things that I've said in Springfield. Look, in Springfield, Ohio, and in communities all across this country, you've got schools that are overwhelmed, you've got hospitals that are overwhelmed, you have got housing that is totally unaffordable because we brought in millions of illegal immigrants to compete with Americans for scarce homes. The people that I'm most worried about in Springfield, Ohio, are the American citizens who have had their lives destroyed destroyed by Kamala Harris's open border. It is a disgrace, Tim. And I actually think, I agree with you. I think you want to solve this problem, but I don't think that Kamala Harris does.
Senator, your time.
These two are being really nice to each other, and this is a way
weird.
This is a way better debate than the other two, but
debate.
way less entertaining.
Yeah, right.
Supported it. That's because they know we need to do this. Look, this issue of continuing to bring this up, of not dealing with it, of blaming migrants for everything. On housing, we could talk a little bit about Wall Street speculators buying up housing and making them less affordable.
He's not wrong.
It becomes a blame.
He's not wrong about that one.
This bill also gives the money necessary to adjudicate.
Just when you say Wall Street speculators, say who you mean.
To be done. This
The
bill gets
who's?
it done in 90 days. Then you start
In
to make a
Whoville.
difference in this, and you start to adhere to what we know, American principles. Look, I don't talk about my faith a lot, but Matthew 25:40 talks about to the
Bible
least amongst
verses.
us you do unto me. I think that's true of most Americans. They simply want order to it. This bill does it. It's funded. It's supported by the
I agree. We shouldn't blame the illegals for illegal immigration. We should blame people like Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, Copperhead, thanks for the $5. Thanks for doing the debate stream, guys. Thank you guys, and thanks for
Thanks
giving
for
us your money
funding it.
tonight. You guys paid
Fuck
for
yeah.
this. I appreciate it.
Protected status.
Well,
Nora?
but
Thank you. Senator, we have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important
We're
because
going to turn now to the
debate-
economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
the rules were that
The
you guys
economy,
weren't going
we're-
to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border one. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That
Thank
is
you,
the
Senator.
facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by
Thank
our
you,
own
Senator, for
leadership.
describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those
We have
laws
so
have been on
much.
the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The
We
CBP
want to
One app has
have.
not been on the books.
Shut up, holes.
It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen,
They
the
muted
audience can't hear you because your mics are cut. We have so much we want to get to.
Coyote NV with $4.99 says, when do they play Twister? Shut up.
I
The
hate
economy
these two.
is a top concern for voters. Each of your campaigns has released an economic plan, so let's talk about the specifics. Governor Walz, Vice President Harris unveiled a plan that includes billions in
XJX
tax
writes, the
credits
app has been
for
around since
manufacturing,
1990.
housing, and a renewed child tax credit. The Wharton School says your proposals will increase the nation's deficit by $1.2 trillion.
Damn.
How would you pay for that without ballooning the deficit? Governor, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. And Kamala Harris and I do believe in the middle class because that's where we come from. We both grew up.
I was born to a middle-class family.
We'll
just take the surplus from Minnesota and help pay for
It's
it.
good. It's healthy. That's what this is supposed to happen. You should be listening. How's this going to impact me? The bold forward plan that Kamala Harris put out there is talking about this housing issue. The one thing is there's 3 million new houses proposed under this plan with down payment assistance on the front end to get you in a house. A house
More
is
government
much
money.
more
It won't
than
result
just
in
an asset
inflation.
to be traded
You know
somewhere.
what that does for me?
It's
Someone who's
foundational to
paid
where you're at.
for all this
And
shit
then
my
making
entire
sure
life.
that the things you
Nothing.
buy every day, whether they be prescription drugs or other things, that there's fairness in that. Look, the $35 insulin is a good thing, but it costs $5 to make insulin. They were charging $800 before this law went into effect. As far as the housing goes, I've seen it in Minnesota. 12% more houses in Minneapolis. Prices went down on rent 4%. It's working. And then making sure tax cuts go to the middle class. $6,000 child tax credit. We have one in Minnesota. Reduces
What?
Wait,
childhood
what?
poverty by a third. We save money.
Oh,
in
the
long
poor.
run,
We
and
make
do
too
the
much
right
money
thing
to.
for families.
No, he
And then
said
getting
middle
businesses off
class.
the ground. The law
I'm
as
the
it stands
fucking
right
middle
now is
class.
$5,000
You lying
tax credit
fuck.
for small business, increasing that to $50,000. Now this is a
$6,000 to the
philosophical
middle
difference between
class.
us. Donald Trump made a promise.
Fuck
and I'll give you
you.
this. He kept it. He took folks to Mar-a-Lago. He said, "You're rich as hell. I'm gonna give you a tax cut." He gave the tax cuts that predominantly went to the top class. What
I got a
happened
tax
there
cut
was
under
an
Trump.
$8 trillion
Yeah.
increase in the national debt, the largest
Somebody
ever.
took my tax
now
cut.
he's proposing a 20% consumption or sales tax on everything we bring in. Everyone agrees, including businesses, it would be destabilizing it, it would increase inflation and potentially lead to a recession. Look, this is simple for you.
No, West Coast Patriot Girl. We don't get $6,000 for
No.
a kid in Minnesota. That's for people who don't make an income.
Fair share.
Yeah, you know, the
When
middle
you do
class,
that,
the people who
our
don't
system
work
works
or make
best.
minimum wage,
More
the
people
middle
are
class.
participating in it, and folks have the things that they need.
Senator, I want to give you a moment to respond on that. But similarly, the Wharton School has done an analysis of the Trump plan.
Is that the Harry Potter
and
school?
says it would increase the nation's
That's
deficit
Hogwarts.
by $5.8 trillion. My question is the same for you. How do you pay for all that without ballooning the deficit? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, you're going to hear a lot from Tim Walz this evening, and you just heard it in the answer, a lot of what Kamala Harris proposes to do. And some of it, I'll be honest with you, it even sounds pretty good. Here's what you won't hear, is that Kamala Harris has already done it. Because she's been the vice president for 3.5 years. She had the opportunity to enact all of these great policies, and what she's actually done instead is drive the cost of food higher by 25%, drive the cost of housing
Only
higher
25?
by about 60%.
Question was, how are you going to reduce the
make
deficit,
middle-class life unaffordable for a large number of
They gotta
Americans?
get
If
the points
Kamala
out,
Harris
though.
has such great plans for how to address middle-class problems, then she ought to do them now. Not when asking for a promotion, but in the job the American people gave her 3.5 years ago. And the fact that she isn't tells you a lot about how much you can trust her actual plans. Now, Donald Trump's economic plan is not just a plan, but it's also a record. A lot of those same economists attack Donald Trump's plans, and they have PhDs, but they don't have common sense.
Yeah, but
and
his
they don't
tax
have
cuts
wisdom.
jacked up
Because
the
Donald
deficit
Trump's
too
economic
because he didn't
policies
pay
to
for it
deliver
by
the
cutting
highest
costs,
take-home
cutting
pay in
spending.
a generation in this country, 1.5% inflation, and to boot, peace and security all over the world. So when people say that Donald Trump's economic plan doesn't make sense, I say look at the record. He delivered rising take-home pay for American workers.
Well, he
Now,
didn't drop
Tim
the deficit.
admirably admits
No,
You're right about
that
that.
Yeah,
they
he
want to
increased the
undo
deficit like
Trump
crazy.
tax cuts.
Yeah.
But if you look at what was so different about Donald Trump's tax cuts, even from previous Republican tax cut plans, is that a lot of those resources went to giving more take-home pay to middle-class and working-class Americans. It was passed in 2017.
None of these assholes wanna cut
and you
spending.
saw an American
No.
economic boom unlike we've seen in a generation in this country. That is a record that I'm proud to run on, and we're going to get back to that common sense wisdom so that you can afford to live the American dream again. I know a lot of you are struggling. I know a
Good luck
lot
with
of
that.
you
None of you are
going
gonna cut spending to cut
It's going to
taxes.
stop
No.
when Donald Trump brings back common sense to this country.
Governor, do you want to respond to that? What has Kamala Harris done for the
my
middle
God,
class?
he's
Well,
just jiggled
Kamala
his
Harris's
neck.
day one was Donald Trump's failure on COVID that led to the collapse of our economy. We were already
He did
before
what
COVID
Fauci
in a-
told
in
him
a
to do.
manufacturing
The same
recession,
guy
but
you
10 million
used.
people out of work, largest percentage since the Great Depression. 9 million jobs closed on that. That was day one. Whether it was the Infrastructure Act or other things we moved. Now, you made a question about experts, said this. I've made a note of this. Economists can't be trusted. Science can't be trusted. National security folks can't be trusted. Look,
I don't
if
trust
you're going to be
national security
president,
folks.
You don't have all
No.
the answers. Donald Trump believes he does. My pro tip of the day is this. If you need heart surgery, listen to the people at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, not Donald Trump.
Why are his
but
eyeballs so
Trump,
big?
Trump, my biggest criticism of Trump is that he trusted the medical people like Fauci during
Yeah.
COVID. Trump's biggest fuck up was COVID. He did fuck up COVID. Walz is right. But he fucked it up by doing the same thing people like you did.
Yeah,
President.
exactly.
That's what's wrong with the system. There's a way around it, and he's bragged about that. We're just asking for fairness in it, and that's all you want.
You have a minute.
Governor, you say trust the experts. But those same experts for 40 years said that if we shipped our manufacturing base off to China, we'd get cheaper goods. They lied about that. They said if we shipped our industrial base off to other countries, to Mexico and elsewhere, it would make the middle class stronger. They were wrong about that. They were wrong about the idea that if we made America less self-reliant, less productive in our own nation, that it would somehow make us better off, and they were wrong about it. And for the first time in a generation, Donald Trump had the wisdom and the courage to say to that bipartisan consensus, we're not doing it anymore. We're bringing American manufacturing back. We're unleashing American energy. We're going to make more of our own stuff. And this isn't just an economic issue. I mean, I've got 3 beautiful little kids
I'll
at home.
fucking
7,
kill
4,
you,
and
you
2,
fucking
and I love them
faggot.
very much, and I hope they're in bed right now. But look, so many of the drugs, the pharmaceuticals that we put in the bodies of our children are manufactured by nations that hate us. This
damn Jew
has
boy.
to stop, and we're not going to stop it by listening to experts. We're going to stop it by listening to common sense wisdom, which is
The
what
Almighty
Donald Trump
says,
governed on.
don't change the subject,
Governor
just
Walz, can
answer
you
the
address that?
fucking
I mean,
question.
Voters say they trust Donald Trump on the economy more. Why?
If you're listening tonight and you want billionaires to get tax cuts, you heard what the numbers were. Look, I'm a union guy on this. I'm not a guy who wanted to ship things overseas.
and your shit's all retarded.
We produce soybeans and corn. We need to have fair trading partners. That's something that we believe in. I think the thing that most concerns me on this is Donald Trump was the guy who created the
I
largest trade
defiled a
deficit in American
child.
history with China. So the rhetoric is good. Much of what the senator said right there, I'm in agreement with him on this. I watched it happen too. I watched it to my
Are they agreeing with each other more than any other presidential debate ever?
People undercutting the right to collectively bargain. We had right.
They've
to work
acknowledged
states
they
made it
agree
more
with each other
difficult.
on shit
We had
towns.
companies that were willing to ship
Weird.
it over, and we saw people profit. Folks that are venture capital in some cases, putting money into companies that were overseas. We're in agreement that we bring those home. The issue is Donald Trump is talking about it. Kamala Harris has a record.
I'm kind of with you on your point.
250,000 more
If these two
manufacturing
were
jobs
running the
just
country and they could debate and come up with some weird fucking middle
Yeah.
ground of what they want to do, it might actually work.
These two are better for the country than Harris and Trump.
Like if they both were like the people in charge.
Yeah.
Equal. Not even like
I would be
president, vice-
more
like, an equal
comfortable
weird
with the
thing.
direction of our country if one of these two won. Versus
I'd be,
the other two.
if both of them won and it was a 50-50 split and they had to come to terms with some kind of agreement down the middle.
It would be
It'd be
funny.
weird.
It would be funny if the polls tomorrow said, "I wish these two were running." By the way, DS with 199. One time in band camp, I had a quarter, and 199. What? You think it's funny? You laughing at me?
Economic record, which has made gas, groceries, and housing unaffordable for American citizens. I was raised by a woman who would sometimes
Boo!
go to
Oh,
medical
sorry.
so that she could
Where
put
was your
food on
father?
the table in our household. I know what it's like to not be able to afford the things that you need to afford.
Fucking
we can
poor.
do so much better. To all of you watching, we can get back to an America that's affordable again. We just got to get back to common sense economic principles.
I hope we have a conversation on health care then.
Senator, Governor, thank you.
They're just
Margaret.
nicely requesting
We have a
topics.
lot to get to ahead,
Pretty please.
gentlemen, on many topics.
It really is a couple of Midwestern guys just going, I really hope we talk about healthcare. Oh, yeah, me too.
The president hears before making
So weird.
consequential
Oh
decisions.
my God, this is weird.
We want to ask you about your leadership qualities.
Aw.
Governor Walz.
Because we know
You
that
said-
both of your presidents are going to have their heads blown off when they don't listen to the people in charge.
89. But Minnesota Public Radio and other media outlets are reporting that you actually didn't travel to Asia until August of
Oh,
that
you didn't go to
Can
China,
you explain
motherfucker.
that discrepancy? Your
Yeah.
minutes.
Well, and to the folks out there who didn't get at the top of this, look, I grew up in small rural Nebraska, town of 400.
Go
town
back
that
there
you
and
rode
govern.
your bike with your buddies till the street lights come on, and I'm proud of that service. I joined the
That
National Guard at
service.
17.
How is riding
worked
your
on family
bike
farm,
with your buddies
and
till
then
the
I
streetlights come on a
used the
fucking
GI Bill
service?
to become a teacher, passionate about it, a young teacher. My first year out, I got the opportunity in the summer of 89 to travel to China. 35 years ago, be able to do that. I came back home and then started a program to take young people there. We would take basketball teams, we would take baseball teams, we would take dancers, and we would go back
Whoa!
and forth to
Talk
China.
more about
The
how
issue
you
for that
did things
was
with
to try
children.
and learn. Now look,
You're
my
not part of a
community
party
knows
that likes
who I
cheese
am.
pizza by
They
any
saw
means.
where I was at. Look, I will
Another
be the first to tell
trafficking.
you, I have poured my heart into my community. I've tried to do the best I can, but I've not been perfect, and I'm a knucklehead at times, but it's
Whoa.
always been about that. Those
Wow.
same people
Wait.
elected me to
He's-
Congress for 12 years.
literally-
And in Congress,
Did he just admit to fucking up the Tiananmen Square thing, but just going,
He's,
I'm a
he's
knucklehead.
completely ignoring it. Yeah.
veterans benefits. And then the people of Minnesota were able to elect me
Yeah.
to governor twice. So look, my commitment has been from
Yeah,
the
because you
beginning
imported all
to
the
make sure that
Somalis.
I'm there for the people, to make sure that I get this right.
Governor, is that a yes that you lied your fucking balls off about Tiananmen
Yeah.
Square?
Yeah,
a
it
lot.
is.
I will get caught up in the rhetoric. But being there, the impact it made, the difference it made in my life, I learned a lot about China. I hear the
Being
critiques of this.
Yeah,
I
I know.
would make the case that Donald Trump should have come on one of those trips with us. I guarantee you he wouldn't be praising Xi Jinping about COVID. And I guarantee you
He's not. He fucking took a baseball bat to China when he was president.
world. It's about trying to do the best you can for your community. And then it's putting yourself out there and letting your folks understand what it is. My commitment, whether it be through teaching, which I was good at,
Again,
or whether
completely
it was being a
ignored
good
the
soldier,
question
or was being a good
about
member of
lying his
Congress,
ass
those
off
are the
about
things
being
that I
there.
think are the values that people care about.
Governor, just to follow up on that, the question was, can you explain the
No,
discrepancy?
All I said on
No,
this
I can't.
was I got there that summer and misspoke on this. So I will just, that's what I've said.
He just basically said, yeah, I fucked that up. My bad. You know what? That's the way you do that shit. You just go,
Yeah.
yeah, I fucked that
The
up.
democracy protest went in. And from that, I learned a lot of what needed to be in governance.
Thank you, Governor.
He's nervous.
Senator Vance, in 2016, you
Senator Vance is like, I was going to jump down your throat on that one, but you just kind of copped to it. So
and you said he could be America's Hitler.
Whoa.
I know you've been asked many times,
Trump.
and you've said you regret those comments and explained you then voted for Donald Trump in 2020. But the
'Cause he
Washington
likes
Post
Hitler.
reported new messages last week in which you also disparaged Trump's economic record while he was president, writing to someone in 2020, quote, Trump thoroughly failed to deliver his economic populism. You're now his running mate, and you've shifted many of your policy
He has a
stances to
pained
align
look on
with
his face. He's like, yeah.
If you become vice president, why should Americans trust that you will give Donald Trump the advice he needs to hear and not just the advice he wants to hear? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Margaret, because I've always been open, and sometimes, of course, I've disagreed with the president.
Like
but I've
Kamala's
also been
southern
extremely
border.
open about the fact that I was wrong about Donald Trump. I was wrong, first of all, because I believed some of the media stories that turned out to be dishonest fabrications of his record. But most importantly, Donald Trump delivered for the American people. Rising wages, rising take-home pay, an economy that worked for normal Americans, a secure southern border, a lot of things, frankly, that I didn't think he'd be able to deliver on. And yeah, when you screw up, when you misspeak, when you get something wrong and you change your mind, you ought to be honest with the American people about it. It's one of the reasons, Margaret,
These guys
why
are
I've done
agreeing
so
again.
many interviews is because I think it's important to actually explain to the American people where I come down on the issues and what changed. Now,
This is kind of what America's
Can we throw out
supposed
the
to be.
leading
Yeah.
candidates and just vote for these two?
That I think there were a lot of things that we could have done better in the Trump administration the first round if Congress was doing its job. I strongly believe, and I've been a United States Senator, that Congress is not just a high-class debating society. It's not just a forum for senators and congressmen to whine about problems. It's a forum to govern. So there were a lot of things on the border, on tariffs, for example, where I think that we could have done so much more if the Republican Congress and the Democrats in Congress had been a little bit better about how they...
If they had been more like the two of us, just stark raving reasonable with each other.
I want to talk about this tariff issue in particular, Margaret, because Tim just accused this of...
Israel just misheard this debate and bombed it when they heard tariff.
And you're probably surprised to hear me praising Joe Biden, but the one thing that Joe Biden did is he continued some of the Trump tariffs that protected American manufacturing jobs. And it's the one issue, the most pro-worker part of the Biden administration, it's the one issue where Kamala Harris has run away from Joe Biden's record. Think about this. If you're trying to employ slave laborers in China at $3 a day, you're going to do that and undercut the wages of American workers unless...
You had me at slave.
...for itself and says you're not accessing our markets unless you're paying middle-class Americans a fair wage.
Senator, your time is up. Nora?
Thank you.
My time is now.
The issue
You
of
can't see me.
reproductive
My
rights.
time is
Governor
now.
Walz, after Roe versus Wade was overturned, you signed a bill into law that made Minnesota one of the least restrictive states in the nation when it comes to abortion.
That's right. Here in
Former
Minnesota,
President
we have a
Trump
land
said
of
in the last
10,000
debate
baby
that you
corpses.
believe abortion, quote, in the 9th month is absolutely fine. Yes or no? Is that what you support? I'll give you 2 minutes.
That's not what the bill says, but look,
No, they said that's what you said.
What's on everyone's mind. Donald Trump put this all into motion.
No, you did. They talked about your
how
bill.
great it was.
Put it back into
that
the
he
hands
put
of
the
the
judges
state.
in and overturned Roe versus Wade. 52
To
years.
bring it back
of
to the
personal
state.
autonomy.
So you could
He
do
didn't
the
say
thing you
shit.
did.
The Supreme Court did.
You send it to the
went
states.
back to the
it's
state.
a beautiful thing. Amanda Zaworski would disagree with you on it's a beautiful thing. A young bride in Texas waiting for their child at 18 weeks. She has a complication, a tear in the membrane. She needs to go in. The medical care at that point needs to be decided by the doctor. And that would have been an abortion. But in Texas, that would have put them in legal jeopardy. She went home, got sepsis, nearly dies, and now she may have difficulty having children. Or in Kentucky,
JD Vance like, the
Hadley
fuck?
Duvall, a 12-year-old child raped and impregnated by her stepfather. Those are horrific. Now, when got asked about that, Senator Vance said 2 wrongs don't make a right. There is no right.
I
in
mean,
this. So in Minnesota, what we did
it's
was
fucked up,
restore
but-
Roe versus Wade. We made sure that we put women in charge of their health care.
Wait, so he's making the point. It should be in the hands of the state.
Know Amanda or a Hadley, you soon will. Their Project 2025 is going to have a
there's
registry
that Project
of
2025.
pregnancies. It's going to make it more difficult, if not impossible, to
No,
get
it won't.
contraception and limit access, if not eliminate access to infertility treatments. For so many of you out there listening, me
not.
included, infertility treatments are why I have a child. That's nobody
Why
else's
would-
business But those things are being proposed. And the catch-all on this is...
That doesn't have
is,
anything
well,
to do
the
with
states
Roe
will
v.
decide.
Wade.
Why would the pro-baby people...
That's the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. Nobody's proposing that as a law.
And why would the pro-life people be opposed to the fertility treatment?
Right.
You want to have more babies, right?
Yeah.
Countries in the world.
Especially if you're white.
This is about
Yes.
healthcare.
They
In
love
Minnesota,
that.
we are ranked first in healthcare for a reason. We trust women. We trust doctors.
Senator,
First
do you want to
in how
respond to the
expensive it
governor's
is.
claim? Will you create a federal pregnancy monitoring agency?
No, certainly we won't. And I want to talk about this issue because I know a lot of Americans care about it.
That was a
I know
nice
lot
way of saying,
Americans
bitch, that
don't
shit
agree,
retarded.
with everything that I've ever said on this topic. And, you know, I grew up in a working class family in a neighborhood.
We know.
Oh my God! We get it. All of you guys were working class. At least Trump will go, my dad was rich as fuck.
Options. And, you know,
He gave me a
one of them is
boost.
actually very
I
dear
figured
to
out
me.
how to make it
And
work.
I know she's watching tonight, and I love you. And she told me something a couple years ago that she felt like if she hadn't had that abortion, that it would have destroyed her life because she was in an abusive relationship. And I think that what I take from that as a Republican who proudly wants to protect innocent life in this country, who proudly wants to protect the vulnerable, is that my party, we've got to do so much better of a job at earning the American people's trust back on this issue where they frankly just don't trust us. And I think that's one of the things that Donald Trump and I are endeavoring to do. I want us as a Republican Party to be pro-family in the fullest sense of the word. I want us to support fertility treatments. I want us to make it easier for moms to afford to have babies. I want it to make it easier for young families to afford a home so they can afford a place to raise that family. And I think there's so much that we can do on the public policy front just to give women more options. Now,
I want to put bleach on the top shelf where pregnant women can't reach it.
Specifically, that we have a big country and it's diverse. And California has a different viewpoint on this than Georgia. Georgia has a different viewpoint from Arizona. And the proper way to handle this, as messy as democracy sometimes is to let voters make these decisions.
You think democracy's messy? Wait until you see a homemade abortion in a state where it's illegal. You talk about breaking a few eggs to make an omelet.
And let's be honest, sometimes a very, very messy and divided country.
Governor, would you like to respond and also answer the question about restrictions?
Yeah, motherfucker.
Well, the question got asked, and Donald Trump made the accusation that wasn't true about Minnesota. Well, let me tell you about this idea that there's diverse states. There's a young woman named Amber Thurman.
God, everybody knows somebody.
She happened to be in Georgia, a restrictive state. Because of that, she had to travel a long distance to North Carolina.
It's not hard
to try and get her care.
You get in a car and
Amber
you go
Thurman
somewhere.
In that
everybody has a car
back and forth.
a couple $100
the
to pay
fact
for
of the
gas.
matter is, how can we as a nation say that your life and your rights, as basic as the right to control your own body, is determined on geography? There's a very real chance had Amber Thurman lived in Minnesota.
You live in West Virginia. Don't take a load.
That's why the restoration of Roe versus Wade. When you listen to Vice President Harris talk about this subject and you hear me talk about it,
you want to have an abortion.
Same. Donald Trump is trying to figure out how to get the political right of this. I agree with a lot of what Senator Vance said about what's happening.
There we
His
go.
running mate, though, does not, and that's the problem.
Well, fuck you, dude. Becoming a member says, hell yeah, 2 years. Also, can we have these two running in place of Trump and Harris? I think a lot of people are going to be saying that tonight.
On abortion.
I don't hate our governor as much in this debate. He actually sounds like a reasonable guy.
Legislation like
I want
that,
these two
quote,
to run the country. I want them to sit in one room and hammer out the fucking negotiations.
Anywhere in the entire world. My question is, why have you changed your position?
Well, Nora, first of all, I never supported a national ban. I did when I was running for Senate in 2022 talk about setting some minimum.
I want to talk to you about cat ladies for a moment.
Abortion ban in place in this country at the federal level. I don't think anybody's trying to get rid of that, or at least
Gina Bobina, there's no need. Thank you for the $2. I'm not having a debate with April. Here's what we're gonna do debate on. We're gonna go, I think you're a piece of shit. And they're gonna go, I agree. I think you're a piece of shit too.
Overwhelmingly, by the way, against my position. And I think that what I learned from that, Nora, is that we've got to do a better job at winning back people's trust. So many young women would love to have families. So many young women also see an unplanned pregnancy as
Yeah, but a lot of whores would also like to kill a baby to make their life a little easier.
Well, that's kind of Rusty Grammer's point.
And we have got to earn people's trust.
I hate this shit. It's a moral conundrum. Abortion is murder, but the people doing it shouldn't procreate either. Fuck.
Care more accessible, making fertility treatments more accessible, because we've got to do a better job at that. And
no, Sam Show, I don't like my governor now. I said I like him. I can tolerate him more tonight.
Yes.
No, we're not. We're pro-women. We're pro-freedom to make your own choice. We know what the implications are.
Make your choice
to
and drive
not be
across
that.
the border, bitch.
Women having miscarriages.
You want to kill
women
that
not
baby?
getting the
Fucking
care,
earn it.
Physicians feeling.
You know, I would murder the baby that's in my womb, but it would cost me a quarter tank of gas. And you know, with prices.
Children.
Well, maybe if this fuck would bring down inflation, she could afford gas to drive across state lines. Make that argument,
That'd be
JD.
great. That'd be great if JD Vance went, if you want your abortion across state lines to be cheaper, elect us and we'll make energy more affordable so you can afford the gas to go kill your baby.
Hey, that we're pro-children, but we don't like this, or you guys are pro-abortion. That's not the case at all. We are pro-freedoms for women to make their choices, and we're going, and Kamala Harris is making the case.
Where's the
to make
man's
options
choice
for
in this, by
children
the way?
more
Because it took
affordable,
two
a
people to make that
$6,000
baby.
child tax credit, but
I
we're
kind
not
of
gonna
have a
base it
problem
on
with
the
that.
facts of making someone like Amber Thurman
It's hard because they all look the same.
to try and get health care.
Senator?
May I respond to that? First of all, Governor, I agree with you. Amber Thurman should still be alive, and there are a lot of people who should still be alive, and I certainly wish that she was. And maybe you're free to disagree with me on this and explain this to me, but as I read the Minnesota law that you signed into law, the statute that you signed into law, it says that a doctor who presides over an abortion where the baby survives, the doctor is under no obligation to provide life-saving care to a baby who survives a botched late-term abortion. That is, I think, whether you're pro-choice or pro-abortion, that is fundamentally barbaric. And that's why I use that word, Nora, is because some of what we've seen, do you want to force Catholic hospitals to perform abortions against their will? Because Kamala Harris has supported suing Catholic nuns to violate their freedom of conscience. We can be...
In fairness, if Catholic nuns perform abortions, the priest can't fuck them. I'm just saying there's a silver lining. Sam Show says they both agree that she should be alive. Yeah, that's fucking controversial.
These are women's decisions to make about their healthcare decisions, and the physicians who know best when they need to do this. Trying to distort the way a law is written to try and make a point, that's not it at all.
What was I wrong about, Governor? Please tell me, what was I wrong about?
That is not the way the law is written. Look, I've given
But
this...
how?
I've given this advice on a lot of things, that getting involved, getting against, that's been misread, and it was fact-checked at the last debate. But the point on this is there's a continuation of these guys to try and tell women or to get involved. I use this line on this, just mind your own business on this. Things worked best when Roe versus Wade was in place. When we do a restoration of Roe...
My life didn't really change. I have a vasectomy. Sam Show says I'm actually upset one of them didn't say, nah, that bitch should be dead.
My bitch ain't got no tubes, so, you know, just drop a mad load.
They get early childhood education. They get health care.
It's satisfying.
Hiding behind we're going to do all these other
tank.
things when you're not proposing them in your budget. Kamala Harris is proposing them. She's proposing all those things to make life easier for families.
I asked a specific question.
Dust Optic Nerve says this is like an actual debate so far. Weird.
So they fact-checked it with President Trump.
Gentlemen, there's a lot to discuss. We have to move on, and we're going to be right back with much more of the CBS
All right,
News
I'm going to go
Vice
grab a
Presidential
carbolus. You
debate
take over.
in just a moment.
Oh my God!
I think so far it's been fun. I'm gonna
It's
lower
been
this.
interesting. It's been weird.
you can
I
talk
just
to
don't
everyone. I'm
fuck
gonna
women. There you go, Atomic Ray. Way to be gay. Proud of you, buddy. Glad to see you came out of the closet and accepted yourself. We love you. We all accept you here. We all die alone on a metal table. Well, I mean, some of us die in beds, and hospital beds have nice padding, and they can like recline you in weird ways, so you can recline and die comfortably. So you're in a nice, cushy position. Oh my God. It's so fucking crazy. What is going on with this debate tonight? There should be a national ban the right to life and liberty in this country. I mean, I'm not opposed to it. Matt, you only said you don't. No, I didn't say I don't fuck women. No, this guy said he don't fuck women. Atomic Ray says I don't fuck women.
The only thing
he doesn't fuck women, not me.
The only
I fuck a woman. I guess you're right. I don't fuck women. I fuck a woman.
Yeah, it's getting
singular.
It's gotten me in trouble.
No. Fucking a woman. No, actually, fucking a woman has another woman. So that's women. So again, fucking women has got you in trouble. If you just stick to fucking one woman, you're fucking a woman.
Here's something for here's something for the clip channels. They'll like this one.
Oh,
so
boy.
part of my therapy, you know, I go to therapy every 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
They think I'm doing better, so I go every 2 weeks. Discussing the possibility of maybe a sex addiction or like a problem, an unhealthy
Jesus
relationship
Christ.
with sex.
You're admitting that after one
No. That's one thing we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Is like, this is my the history. And I want to work on this. Like, do I have a sex addiction? And like, it's never good when a therapist who specializes in these things goes, certainly what you were doing before is not exactly the sign of a healthy sex life. So I think they settled on maybe not sex addiction, but certainly an unhealthy relationship with it, and we'll work on that.
Okay.
No, it was not court-mandated therapy, Chad Buzamak. No, it's the therapy I've been going to since May.
Yeah.
I believe.
I don't want to talk to your therapist. I don't know what she'd say about me.
09 Canyon says, Aaron, half the chat has been telling you that for the last few years. Yeah, I hear you. I get it. God, you can tell inflation's bad when the Dow's at 42,000 and everybody's broke. That is not good. That is not positive. You guys, by the way, are $20 into tomorrow morning's goal. Thank you very much for that. Anything you contribute to the show during this debate over the next, half hour or so here, we'll go right towards tomorrow morning. Gray Duckling already knocked out tomorrow night. We're going to do a movie watch. So thank you for that. I guess technically tomorrow we have the morning and afternoon, or we have the morning and evening shows to knock out tomorrow morning's goal, but why not just fucking do the whole thing all at once? I'm going to actually copy and paste the stories we didn't get to tonight into tomorrow's prep. There's a lot. Oh, yeah, this woman shitting on Biden for the hurricane live on national TV when they interview her about her house being lost in the hurricane. Not bad. Oh, yeah, Charlemagne shitting on Kamala Harris. Oh, we got some good stuff for you tomorrow. I don't really give a fuck about Antonio Brown and Travis Kelce. We can delete that one. Okay. I don't know if you're a big Raiders fan, but Devontae Adams asked for a trade.
Oh, yeah?
Today. Yeah, he's demanding a trade. He wants to get the fuck out of Las Vegas.
Oh, is he in a union too? Just demanding shit.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back to this debate. Let's listen to these two fucking yentas keep yapping. Let me just make sure there's no PayPals to get to. Okay, we're good. Thank you guys for your contributions.
Turn now to America's gun violence epidemic.
Yay! Let's talk about guns.
Death for children and teens.
I bet you Walz. Walz says he's a hunter.
Senator Vance,
in this one.
you oppose most gun legislation that Democrats claim would curb gun violence.
It won't.
You oppose red flag gun laws and legislation to ban certain semi-automatic
rifles. I want red flag wife
including
laws.
AR-15s.
Right.
So let me ask you.
Some fucking cunt wife in a divorce. I think he's this. With nothing to base it off of, and all of a sudden you're on a list.
Involuntary manslaughter and sentenced to 10 years.
I've never run into I've never run into an ex-wife who fucking lies to people about certain things you do.
Yeah, no, never.
Never had a wife be a total fucking playing victim bitch and say, "Oh yeah, he hits."
I've never had a wife make up some fucking bullshit. No.
Yeah.
No.
Women scorn never make up horse shit because they have no souls.
A whole line
of kid steals a gun. That's going to be different than if a parent
or to get themselves out of a lot of fucking trouble that they put themselves in.
But look, I want to just sort of speak as a father of three beautiful little kids, and our
let me speak as the Son and the Holy Spirit.
And like a lot of parents, we send our kids to school with such hope and such joy and such pride at their little faces on the first day of school, and we know, unfortunately, that a lot of kids are going to experience this terrible epidemic of gun violence. And of course, our hearts go out to the families that are affected by this terrible stuff, and we do have to do better. And I think that Governor Walz and I actually probably agree that we need to do better on this. The question is...
They're agreeing all the time, these two.
Right.
Now, here's something that really bothers me and worries me about this epidemic of violence.
I swear to God, it was the Bernstein Bears.
And some of the statistics I've seen of the gun violence in this country is committed with illegally obtained firearms. And while we're on that topic, we know that thanks to Kamala Harris's open border, we've seen a massive influx in the number of illegal guns run by the Mexican drug cartels. So that number, the amount of illegal guns in our country is higher today than it was 3.5 years ago. But what do we do about about the schools? What do we do to protect our kids? And I think the answer is, and I say this not loving the answer, because I don't want my kids to go to school in a school that feels unsafe or where there are visible signs of security.
Well, then move to the suburbs.
I think that we have to increase security in our schools. We have to make the doors lock better. We have to make the doors stronger. We've got to make the windows stronger.
Come on. I understand not being for like democratic gun laws, but like, all right, here's how we're going to fix this, kids. We're going to make those locks better.
Fit with recent experience, so we've got to make our schools safer, and I think we've got to have some common sense bipartisan solutions for how to do that.
Governor, you have 2 minutes.
Well, I think all the parents watching tonight, this is your biggest nightmare. Look, I got a 17-year-old, and he witnessed.
He looks just like a school shooter.
Volleyball. Those things don't leave you. As a member of Congress, I sat in my office surrounded by dozens of the Sandy Hook parents, and they were looking at my 7-year-old picture on the wall. Their 7-year-old were dead, and they were asking us to do something. And look, I'm a hunter.
I'm a hunter.
I feel for him. That had to be a fucking bummer, right? Surrounded by all those people just crying about their kids. Just, Jesus, man, I'm stressed.
To figure this out. In Minnesota, we've enacted enhanced red flag laws, enhanced background checks, and we can start to get data. But here's the problem. If we really want to solve this,
here's the problem.
We've got
when somebody calls a school and says, I'm going to shoot up 3 or 4 schools today, and you're the first one on my list, they did nothing about it.
That we should just live with it. And here's what I do think, that this is a good start to the conversation. I 100% believe that Senator Vance hates it when these kids, it's abhorrent.
Okay, they agree that one girl shouldn't be dead and that school shootings are bad. These guys are right on track with each other.
In Finland, and seen some Finnish schools. They don't have this happen, even though they have a high gun ownership rate in the country. There are reasonable
How do they address their
we
mental
can
illness
do to make a difference. It's not infringing on your Second Amendment. And the idea to have some of these weapons out there, it just doesn't make any sense. Kamala Harris, as an attorney general, worked on this issue. She knows that it's there. No one's trying to scaremonger and say we're taking your guns, but I ask all of you out there,
can we take your guns?
Do you want your schools hardened to look like a fort?
Yes.
Is that what we have?
I loved making forts when I was a kid.
Yes.
If it,
make it a fortress.
Can we make our schools,
armed guards on every corner?
Can we make our school like a blanket fort?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Like a Mongolian yurt. Chad Buzamak says mental illness is a bigger issue than guns.
Yeah. No, that is the issue.
I agree it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It is not.
Senator.
Tim, first of all, I didn't know that your 17-year-old witnessed a shooting. I'm sorry about that, and I hope that he's doing okay.
Blow each other.
Oh, my God.
It is awful. And I appreciate what Tim said, actually, about Finland.
I'm so sad that Trump and Harris are our choices and not these two. I really want these two to be president. They're better people.
Why is this so reasonable?
I know.
First of all,
elect Trump,
we
let him
have
get
way
assassinated.
higher rates of
If you want a hug after this debate, I'll squeeze you.
We have way higher rates of depression, way higher rates of anxiety. We unfortunately have a mental health crisis in this country that I really do think that we need to get to the root causes of, because I don't think it's the whole reason why we have such a bad gun violence
because we have to choose between Kamala Harris and Trump and not you two.
Another
I'm going to get to the part where he agrees with him again.
That affecting our kids. It doesn't.
I agree. It's really bad that my son saw that shooting, and thank you for your sympathy.
And then there's the mental health crisis and blah, and so on and so on.
Law enforcement to arrest.
You like horses?
Them away and take gun offenders off the streets. I think there's a whole host of things that we can do here, but I do think at our schools we've got to talk about more security.
Senator, thank you. Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look.
Wait, he's friends with school shooters?
Go back.
Whoa.
Time out.
Wait a minute. I think they might disagree.
Another driver of the gun violence epidemic, especially that affecting our kids, it doesn't earn as many here, but I do think at our schools we've got to talk about more security.
Senator, thank you.
I got to go back to him being friends with school shooters.
But it's only later in your
Jay
political
Brock and Sharian says fucking based.
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was the NRA guy for a long time. They used to teach gun safety.
They still do. What do you mean they used to?
My shotgun was in my car, so I could.
In a lot of our big cities, in a lot of.
My shotgun was in my...
In a lot of our big cities.
Shit, I
And
need to
this
hear
is
that
why
again.
We have to empower law enforcement to arrest the bad guys, put them away, and take gun offenders off the streets. I think there's a whole host of things that we can do in a lot of our big cities.
Oh, shit.
Governor, you previously opposed an assault weapons ban, but only later in your political career did you change your position. Why?
Yeah, I sat in that office with those Sandy Hook parents. I've become friends with school shooters. I've seen it. Look, the NRA, I was the NRA guy for a long time.
All right, we'll go back to
bad
safety. We'll go back to live.
First campaign promises a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers and a $10,000 tax credit. They also
Breaking
promise
news,
to
Tim
build
Walz
3
friends
million
with
new
school
homes.
shooters.
Where are you building these homes, and won't handing out
I hate
that
this
kind
shit.
of money
Oh, let's
just
pay
drive
off
up
student
prices
loan
higher?
debt.
No,
Let's
it's not
let's
handing
give you
out.
money to buy a
First, let
home.
me say this issue
Where's my
of
fucking
housing,
money?
and I think those of you listening,
I paid
on
my
this,
fucking bills.
The problem we've had is that we've got a lot of folks that see housing as another commodity. It can be bought up, it can be shifted, it can be moved around. Those are not folks living in those houses. Those of you listening tonight, that house is a big deal. I bought and owned one house in my life. My mom still lives in the house.
living
I
off the
was.
fucking
And when I
government
think
ever
of a
since.
house, I'm
Politician.
thinking of Christmas services after midnight mass where you go with your family. We need to make it more affordable. And one of the things, as I said, this program that the vice president is pushing forward and bringing a new way of approaching this is something we're doing in Minnesota from that lead. We in the state invested in making sure our housing was the biggest investment that we'd ever made in housing. It starts to make it easier. We cut some of the red tape. Local folks, look, we can't do it at the federal level, but local folks make it easier to build those homes. And
XJX says, how many school shootings could this man have stopped?
Right.
certainly for me, using the GI Bill was one thing, but a veteran's home loan, the big thing about a veteran's home loan is you don't have to pay the down payment. Those are things that make it there. Now, look, you're going to pay it back, and you're going to pay your mortgage. Those are things that we know in the long run, the appreciated value, the generational wealth that's created from it. And I will give Minneapolis an example. Minneapolis is the one city where we've seen the lowest inflation rates. We've seen a 12% increase in stock because we've put some of these things in, and we're implementing a state program to make sure we give some of that down payment assistance. We get it back from people because here's what we know. People with stable housing end up with stable jobs. People with stable housing have their kids able to get to school. All of those things in the long run end up saving our money. And that's the thing that I think we should be able to find some common ground in, but we can't blame immigrants for the only reason. That's not the case that's happening in many cities.
Well, I mean, more people competing for the same amount of goods does cause prices to go up. Sam Show says shooters are let in because they name drop Tim Walz when they show up. My buddy Tim.
Create that base.
Governor, your time is up. Senator Vance, as far as your campaign's position, the promise is to seize federal lands to build homes,
I like
remove
that.
regulation, provide tax breaks, and cut back on immigration, which you say pushes up prices. Where are you going to build all the new homes you're promising? And what
On the
part
federal
of
land.
any of this plan will provide immediate relief? You have 2 minutes.
Well, first of all, Tim just said something that I agree with. We don't want to blame immigrants for higher housing prices, but we do want to blame Kamala Harris for letting in millions.
So they
and
agree on
millions
that.
into
They
this
agree
country,
that-
which does drive up costs, Tim. 25 million illegal aliens competing with Americans for scarce homes
you
is
just
one of
said
the most significant drivers
just said that.
of home prices in the country. It's why we have massive increases in home prices that have happened right alongside.
One thing Tim and I agree with, he loves school shooters and is friends with them.
Kamala Harris's leadership. Now, Tim just mentioned a bunch of ideas. Now, some of those ideas I actually think are halfway decent, and some of them I disagree with. But the most important thing here is Kamala Harris is not running as a newcomer to politics. She is the sitting vice president. If she wants to enact all of these policies,
I agree with Tim Walz. We can't afford 4 more years of this.
to use the office that the American people already gave her, not sit around and campaign and do nothing while Americans find the American dream of homeownership completely unaffordable. Now, you asked, Margaret, what would immediately change the equation for American citizens if you lower energy prices? As Donald Trump says, drill, baby, drill.
I just got a text from one of my friends that said, I wish these two were running.
Think about it. If a truck driver's
He
paying
just had his
40%
first
more for
kid
diesel,
tonight, too.
then the lumber he's delivering to the job site to build the house is also going to become a lot more expensive. If we open up American energy, you will get immediate pricing relief for American citizens.
I would
not,
like
by the
immediate
way,
release.
just in housing, but in a whole host of other economic goods too.
Bend over. I'll put a
Senator
thumb in your
Vance, you still
asshole.
have
take
23
one of
seconds
the
there. Do you
thumb.
want to answer
Can I have it?
where?
I like
we'll
that.
Get to you in a moment, but
Senator Vance, you have 23 seconds. Tim Walz, can I have it?
Well, what Donald Trump has said is we have a lot of federal lands that aren't being used for anything. They're not being used for national park. They're not being
It's a
used.
fucking
and they
waste
could
and a
be
drain on the
places where we
economy.
Build a lot of housing, and I do think that we should be opening up building in
Well,
this
not to
country.
mention all the other
We
land
have
around our
a lot
fucking
of
military
land
bases
that
that
could be
China is
used.
buying
We
up.
have a
Maybe we
lot of
take that
Americans
back
that
from
need
them.
homes. We should be kicking.
We do have a lot of federal land, though, way too much, and we should open it up to private developers.
I believe that, too.
Who deserve to be here.
9/11, make a
Time
wish.
is up. Governor, I do want to let you respond to the allegation that the vice president is letting in
Well, of course, that's not
migrants,
true. And again,
that
you
it's
have the
affecting
facts. I
housing
guess we
prices.
agreed not to fact check. I'll check it. That, look, crossings are down compared to when Donald Trump left office. But it's, again, blaming and not trying to find the solution. I was going to ask, though, on this question, are we going to drill and build houses in the same federal land? And I think when people hear federal lands, these are really important pieces of land. Now, Minnesota doesn't have a lot of federal lands. I know in the western part of the countries we do. There's not a lot of federal lands in and around Minneapolis, for example. So the issue is I don't understand.
I mean, unless you count the people there that the federal government pays for.
Right.
This is someone who cares deeply about our national parks and our federal lands. Look, Minnesota, we protect these things. We've got about 20% of the world's fresh water. These lands protect. They're there for a reason. They belong
We got a
to
lot of
all
fucking
us.
farmland,
But
too,
again,
that you're
this is
shutting down
when
in
you
Stearns
view
County.
housing, and you view these things as commodities.
Whatever.
Like there's a
Wherever.
chance to make
Yeah.
money here. Let's take this federal land and let's sell it to people for that. I think there's better ways to do this. We've seen it in Minnesota. We're able to refurbish some of these
If
houses.
he says anything nice about the Vikings, I'm voting for Kamala Harris.
On the fact on this, economists, Senator Vance, you said you don't like the economists. Which economists are saying that it is immigrants that's adding to the cost?
Governor,
Where's the
your
study?
time is up. But Senator, on that point, I'd like for you to clarify. There are many contributing factors to high housing costs. What evidence do you have that migrants are
More
handing them out
Well,
thousands
there's a
of
Federal
dollars a
Reserve
month.
study
They're
that we'll have
competing
this
for the
year
homes.
After the debate, we'll put it up on social media, actually, that really drills down on the connection between increased levels of migration, especially illegal immigration, and higher housing prices. Now, of course, Margaret, that's not the entire driver of higher housing prices. It's also the regulatory regime of Kamala Harris. Look, we are a country of builders. We're a country of doers. We're a country of explorers.
We were.
But we increasingly have a federal administration that makes it
Yeah,
harder
when we
to
were-
develop
no, I'm just
our
kidding.
resources, makes it harder to build
white,
things,
you know?
and wants to
I'm
throw
white.
people in jail for not doing everything exactly as Kamala Harris says they have to do. And what that means is that you have a lot of people who would love to build homes who
You
are
better quit mouthing off, or Tim's friends, the school shooters, are going to come.
idea of housing as a commodity. But the thing that has most turned housing into a commodity is giving it away to millions upon millions of people who have no legal right to be here.
What are the federal regulations? I deal with this as a governor.
Mr. Beat says immigrants smell awful. That alone is reason enough to deport them.
Governor,
Jesus.
and I don't necessarily disagree with that. That in some cases, many of
They're
those are
agreeing
local,
again.
many of them are state. I don't know which ones are federal, but I think whenever we talk regulations, people think they can get rid of them. I think
Are
you
we looking
want
at
to
the
be able to
2028
get out of your house in a fire. I think you want to make sure that it's fireproof and those types of things. So which are the regulations? Because the vice president's not responsible for those. Congress writes those.
Governor, thank you. Gentlemen, we have a lot to get to. You're passionate about the housing crisis, I can tell. But Nora?
Thank you. One of the top problems facing Americans is the high cost of health care. Senator Vance, at the last presidential debate, former President Trump was asked about replacing the Affordable Care Act. In response, he said,
It's not too
I
affordable.
have concepts of a plan. Since then, Senator, you've talked about...
Dawes Optic Nerve, can we run these two against Trump and Harris?
Right.
That'd be good.
Can you explain how that would work? And can you guarantee that Americans with
May I say, strawberry margarita carbless?
I'm a fan of the black cherry
Pretty good.
myself.
What a couple of queers.
Americans with pre-existing conditions. In fact, a lot of my family members have gotten health care. I believe, members
That's
of my
funny. A lot of Tim Walz pals put people in hospitals and school shootings.
off of Medicaid onto private insurance for the first time under Donald Trump's leadership.
I wanna
And
see if
think
that's the
that,
thing on
a
Twitter
lot of
right
people
now.
have criticized this concepts of a plan remark. Look, it's very simple common sense. I think as Tim Walz knows from 12 years in Congress, you're not going to propose a 900-page bill.
Oh, yeah, it's the top
standing on
one.
a
It's the
debate
first
stage. It would
one.
bore everybody to tears,
Look.
and it wouldn't actually mean anything because part of this is the give and take of bipartisan negotiation. Now, when Donald Trump was actually president, and again, he has a record to be proud of, prescription drugs fell in 2018 seen for the first time in a very long time. Under Kamala Harris's leadership, prescription drugs are up about 7%. Under Donald Trump's entire 4 years, they were up about 1.5%.
Goddamn.
He introduced pricing transparency. Think about healthcare. You go into a hospital, you try to buy something, and nobody knows what it actually costs. That
somebody
price
texting in,
transparency
Walz
will
looks like a
actually give
hairless
American
bulldog in
consumers
heat.
a little bit more choice and will also drive down costs. And we talked about, you know, the reinsurance regulations is what I was talking about. Look, Donald Trump has said that if we allow states to experiment a little bit on how to cover both the chronically ill, but the non-chronically ill, it's not just a plan. He actually implemented some of these regulations when he was president of the United States. And I think you can make a really good argument that it salvaged Obamacare, which was doing disastrously until Donald Trump came along. And I think this is an important point about President Trump. Of course, you don't have to agree with everything that President Trump has ever said or ever done, but when Obamacare was crushing
Tim Walz
under
is
the weight
60.
of
They
its
could
own
both run in
regulatory
4
burden
years.
and healthcare costs, Donald Trump could have destroyed the program. Instead, he worked in a bipartisan way to ensure that Americans had access to affordable care. It's not perfect, of course, and there's so much more that we can do, but I think that Donald Trump has earned the right to put in place some better healthcare policies. He's earned it because he did it successfully the first time.
Governor?
All right, here's where being an old guy gives you some history. I was there at the creation of the ACA. And the reason it was so important is I come from a major healthcare state, home of the Mayo Clinic, home to Medical Alley, 3M, Medtronic, all of those. We understand healthcare. It's why we're ranked first on affordability and accessibility and quality of healthcare.
We're the most affordable?
So what I know is under
We're one
Kamala
of, yeah.
Harris,
Wow, this
more
country's
people are covered
fucked.
than they have before. And
'Cause
those of you
this ain't
listening,
fucking
this is critical
affordable.
to you. Now, Donald Trump all of a sudden wants to go back and remember this. He ran on the first thing he was going to do on day one was to repeal Obamacare.
Great job, John McCain, you fucking cunt, you spiteful dick. Rotten hell.
He signed on to a lawsuit to repeal the ACA, but
Jay Bra says Aaron eats at the Mayo Clinic.
healed the ACA had it not been for the courage of John McCain to save that bill. Now, fast forward, what that means to you is you lose your pre-existing conditions. If you're sitting at home and you got asthma, too bad. If you're a woman, probably not. Broke your foot during football, might kick you out. Your kids get kicked out when they're 26. Kamala Harris negotiated drug
Well, your
prices
kids
for the
should
first
get kicked
time
off your health care
with
plan when
Medicare.
you're
We have
26.
10
They're fucking
drugs that will come
adults.
online,
You
the
should
most
have raised
common
them to be
ones that'll
productive
there.
members of
But look,
society by
this
then.
issue, and when Donald Trump said, I
Quit yelling at Nick's parents.
cracked me up as a fourth grade teacher because my kids would have never given me that. But what Senator...
I know them. They're nice people. It's not their fault they fucking affluenced a kid to be a retard.
I'll make this as simple as possible because I have done this for a long time. What they're saying is,
we get it, you're old.
If you're healthy, why should you be paying more? So what they're going to do is let insurance companies pick who they insure, because guess what happens? You pay your premium, it's not much. They figure they're not going to have to pay out to you. But those of you a little older, gray, got cancer, you're going to get kicked out of it. That's why the system didn't work. Kamala Harris will protect and enhance
Because you cost
the
a
ACA.
lot to insure.
Governor, thank you. Senator, you have not yet explained how you would protect people with pre-existing conditions or laid out that plan.
Well, look, we currently have laws and regulations in place right now that protect
Someone with a great point. Medtronic moved its offices to Ireland because of our high taxes here. That's true.
make the health insurance marketplace function a little bit better. Now, what Governor Walz just said is actually not true. A lot of what happened and the reason that Obamacare was crushing under its own weight is that a lot of young and healthy people were leaving the exchanges. Donald Trump actually helped address that problem, and he did so in a way that preserved people's access to coverage who had pre-existing conditions. But again, something that these guys do is they make a lot of claims
What do you mean, these
about
guys?
if Donald
Jews.
Trump becomes president, all of these terrible consequences are going to ensue. But in reality, Donald Trump was president. Inflation was low. Take-home pay was higher. And he saved the very program from a Democratic administration that was collapsing and would have collapsed absent his leadership. He did his job, which is govern in a bipartisan way and get results, not just complain about problems, but actually solve them.
Governor, did enrollment under the Affordable Care Act go up under the Trump administration?
It's higher now that we've seen it go up. Look, people are using it. The system works. Yeah. And the question
So the
about
system
this,
he
young
kept in
people,
place.
whatever, that's the individual
Right.
mandate piece of this. And Republicans fought tooth and nail saying, well, Americans should be free to do this. Well, then
So
what
you
happens
think the
is
individual mandate's a good idea?
you shrink. I think the idea of making sure the risk pool is broad enough to cover everyone, that's the only way insurance works. When it doesn't, it collapses. You are asking
He's right, but you shouldn't have to force people to do it.
Right.
People know that they need to be on health care. People expect it to be there. And when we are able to make it, and we are making it this way, when we incentivize people to be in the market.
What if there's people with shitloads of money who just want to pay when they go in for an x-ray or something like that?
Yeah.
They just want to pay cash. Like, here you go.
I heard people say, well, I don't want to buy into Medicare or whatever. Good luck buying health care once you get past 70. So look, the ACA
What
works.
if I don't want to get
we can continue to do better.
Or what if,
Kamala Harris did
I
that.
went my
The
life
way
until
she
I was
made
about
everything better
30 years
was
old and decided,
negotiating
oh, now
those
I should
10
get a
drugs
job
on
where I can
Medicare
go
for
get
the
health care.
first time in American history.
Thank you. Margaret.
Can I address that?
I apologize. We're out of time. We have a number of subjects to discuss. Margaret.
Let's talk about families in America.
Remember, Tim Walz was like, we need to talk about health care.
Crisis in this country. And the United States is one of the very few developed countries in the world without a national paid leave program for new parents. Governor Walz, you said that if Democrats win both the White House and Congress, this is a day one priority for you. How long should employers be required to pay workers while they are home taking care of their newborns? You have 2 minutes.
As much as they negotiate between the two of them.
That's negotiable, and that's what Congress works. But here's what the deal is.
No, Congress shouldn't be involved. It should be between the employer and the employee.
And it shouldn't be men. Men should not get paid because their wife squeezed out a fucking baby. The men, you
go to work.
Take a week. You have a job that gives you vacation time.
Yeah.
Take a few days off. Take a week off. Get the fuck back to work. Support your fucking family.
Once you have a baby, you ain't going on vacation anyway. So take up your vacation time with your baby.
Take a leave. You have a child, and I had to go back to work 5 days after my kids were born.
You should.
This
You have
allows
the
to
dick.
Stay home a certain amount of
Your
time.
dick wasn't
What we
ripped
know
open when
is
that baby was
that gets the
squeezed out of
child
it.
off to a better start. The family works better.
not.
We stay in their employers. We get more consistency. In
horrible.
That. So Kamala Harris has made it a priority. We implemented it in Minnesota, and we see growth.
I'm getting jowls.
That's how you
I need to get
become
back into the gym.
A pro-business state. But the
Didn't want to look like that
negotiations
guy.
on it,
No.
and here's the issue. Those big
I want to look like
companies are
JD
able
Vance,
to
that
offer
stud.
it. Those of you out there who don't have
In
it,
my union is 3
just
months parental leave,
imagine
Matt.
what
Shut up.
happens
Yeah,
if you
fuck
get
your
cancer
union, by the way. It
or
should
your
only be
child
3 months
gets
leave
sick.
if you're a
We
fucking
know
woman.
what happens.
You got the
end
dick,
up staying
get back to
home.
work.
In some
Okay.
places,
Go
that means
contribute.
no paycheck because you've got no protection.
Support
on
your
that.
family.
This is
Don't
the
put it
case
on
of
me.
an economy that Donald
calling him
Trump
a
has
cuck?
set
I am.
to the wealthiest amongst us. He's willing to give those
Your
tax
family ain't
breaks
my problem.
to the
You
wealthiest.
support it.
He's willing to say, bust those unions up, do whatever. What we're saying is the
Yeah, all I
economy
say is
works
bust a
best
move.
when it works for all of us. And so a paid family medical leave program, and I will tell you, go to the families or go to the businesses and ask them. As far as childcare on this, you have to take it at both the supply and the demand side. You can't expect the most important people in our lives to take either our children or our parents to get paid the least amount of money. And we have to make it easier for folks to be able to get into that business and then to make sure that folks are able to pay for that. We were able to do it in Minnesota, and I'm still telling you this.
Employers
we were
can't
listed
pay
as
for
the
somebody
best
to
state.
not
We're
be there
still
for
in
3
crisis
months.
on this. A federal program of paid family medical leave and help with this will enhance our workforce, enhance our families, and make it easier to have the children that you want.
Governor, your time is up.
Have the children you
Senator,
can
do
afford
support a
and
national
support,
paid leave
not the ones you
program?
want.
And if so, for how long should employers be mandated to pay their employees while they are home taking care of their newborn? You have 2 minutes.
Yeah, well, first of all, Margaret, a number of my Republican colleagues and some Democrats, too, have worked on this issue. And I think there is a bipartisan solution here because a lot of us care about this issue.
Okay, so now
I mean,
they're
look,
being reasonable again.
I speak from this very personally because I'm married to a beautiful woman who is an incredible mother to our 3 beautiful kids, but is also a very, very brilliant corporate litigator. And I'm so proud of her. But being a working mom, even for somebody with all of the advantages of my wife, is extraordinarily difficult. And it's not just difficult from a policy perspective. She actually had access to paid family leave because she worked for a bigger company, but the cultural pressure on young families and especially young women, I think makes it really hard for people to choose the family model they want. A lot of young women would like to go back to work immediately. Some would like to spend a little time home with the kids. Some would like to spend longer at home with the kids. We should have a family care model that makes choice possible. And I think this is a very important
They're agreeing. Look at Walz.
between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris's approach. I mean, look, if you look at the federal programs that we have that support paid family leave right now, the Community Development Block Grant, and there's another block grant program that's...
I should get 52 weeks a year paid leave because my puss hurts, says Redman.
model. Let's say you'd like your church maybe to help you out with childcare. Maybe you live in a rural area or an urban area and you'd like to get together with families in your neighborhood to provide childcare in the way that makes the most sense. You don't get access to any of these.
Yeah, but if you're in an urban area, a lot of those people are going to be crack dealers.
How we deliver family care and how we promote childcare, because look,
and they'll have their side hair braiding business.
Of course, Tim and I have been on the campaign trail a lot the past 7 or 8 weeks, and one of the biggest complaints I hear from young families is,
you're a cunt.
Like they don't have options, like they're choosing between going to work or taking care for their kids. That is an incredible burden to put on American families. We're the only country that does it. I think we could do a heck of a lot better.
Senator, thank you. You have also said, Senator Vance, many things about the American family. The Federal Reserve says parents
Dude, are we getting the cat lady comment?
On child care as they do on housing each month. So I want to get your thoughts on this.
Yeah, that's between health
President
insurance
Trump
and food.
Recently said, as much as child care is talked about as being expensive, it's relatively speaking not very expensive compared to the kinds of numbers we'll be taking in. Is President Trump committed to the $5,000 per child tax credit that you have?
Health insurance, child support, food, and everything else. And if you take a portion of my mortgage, put it towards kids, I spend way more on kids than I do on mortgage.
For shipping jobs overseas and penalizing countries who employ slave laborers and then ship their products back into our country and undercut the wages of America.
Where are these countries for Realtor.com purposes?
Plan. Cut taxes for American workers and American families. Cut taxes for businesses that are hiring and building companies in the United States of America, but penalize companies and countries that are shipping jobs overseas. That's the heart of the economic proposal. And I think what President Trump is saying is that when we bring in this additional revenue with higher economic growth, we're going to be able to provide paid family leave, child care options that are viable and workable for a lot of American families.
Can you clarify how that will solve the child care shortage?
Well, because as Tim said, a lot of the child care shortages, we just don't have enough resources going into the multiple people who could be providing family care options. And we're going to have to, unfortunately, look, we're going to have to spend more money. We're going to have to induce more people to want to provide child care options for American families, because the reason it's so expensive right now.
Sorry, I haven't been talking. I've been sitting here farting for a little bit.
Providing this very essential service.
Thank you, Senator.
Oh, my God.
Governor Walz, your ticket also has some child care tax credit proposals. Do you think Congress will agree to the $6,000 credit for
I have
newborns
to sit in it now.
This is a preemptive shirt.
This is bad news bears.
As your campaign has
Carbless farts terribly.
Well, if these members of Congress are listening to anybody, I can tell you, and this is the biggest
I don't
issue.
like
Everybody
carbless
listening
farts.
tonight
I'm just
knows.
bathing in it
they're
right now.
shocked to hear it's not that expensive.
Whoa.
And let's be clear, whether it's 5,000
You got problems with that carbless.
that leaves you about
I'm only 92% sure that I didn't shit my pants.
As we got out of an imbalance on this, we thought we were going to get by not paying people. I don't think Senator Vance and I are that far apart. I'm not opposed to what he's talking about on options. We've done scholarships, types of
They're
things.
agreeing
I think we
again.
need to be open to make
Just
the case.
fuck
But
already.
The issue here is, the question you asked is, you're not going to pay for it with these tariffs. That's just adding another $4,000 on the family and taking less. So not only do they not get the money to pay for that, they're $4,000 in the hole. That's Wharton School. That's his alma mater. And so I think the issue here is, if those members of Congress, I can't believe they're not. When I go to businesses, sure, they'll talk about taxes sometime, but they will lead with childcare and they will lead with housing.
Das Optic Nerve says Vance Walz 2024. I'm here for it. I like these two better than either of the other two.
Governor, thank you. We need to move on. Nora?
Let's talk about the state of democracy, the top
Gay.
issue for Americans after the economy and inflation. After the 2020 election, President Trump's campaign and others filed 62 lawsuits contesting the results.
And they wouldn't even let him hear the evidence they had that the election was bullshit.
Trump and other Republican presidents looked at the evidence and said there was no widespread fraud.
No, they didn't. They didn't even look at the fucking evidence.
We're not even going to hear it.
Democrats certified the 2020 election results and sent a legal slate of electors to Congress for January 6th. Senator Vance, you have said you would not have certified the last presidential election and would have asked the states to submit alternative electors. That has been called unconstitutional and illegal.
January
Would you
6th is
again
so
seek to
fucking
challenge
cool. I love
this
it. I
year's
think we should do
election
it all. No, I'm
results
just kidding.
even if every governor certifies the results? I'll give you 2 minutes.
Well, Nora, first of all, I think that we're focused on the future. We need to figure out how to solve the inflation crisis caused by Kamala Harris's policies, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable, and that's what we're focused on. But I want to answer your question because you did ask it. Look, what President Trump has said is that there were problems in 2020.
We fact-checked that.
My own belief is that we should fight about those issues, debate those issues peacefully in the public square, and that's all I've said, and that's all that Donald Trump has said. Remember, he said that on January the 6th, the protesters ought to protest peacefully. And on January the 20th, what happened? Joe Biden became the president, Donald Trump left the White House, and now, of course, unfortunately, we have all of the negative policies that have come from the Harris-Biden administration. I believe that we actually do have a threat to democracy in this country, but unfortunately, it's not the threat to democracy that Kamala Harris and Tim Walz want to talk about. It is the threat of censorship. It's Americans casting aside lifelong friendships because of disagreements over politics. It's big technology companies silencing their fellow citizens. And it's Kamala Harris saying that rather than debate and persuade her fellow Americans, she'd like to censor people
if he
who
agrees with
engage
him
in
on this one, I'm going to
misinformation.
fucking write him in.
I think that is a much bigger threat to democracy than anything that we've seen in this country in the last 4 years, in the last 40 years. Now, I'm really proud, especially given that I was raised by two lifelong blue-collar Democrats, to have the endorsement of Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard, lifelong leaders in the Democratic coalition. And of course, they don't agree with me and Donald Trump on every issue. We don't have to agree on every issue, but we're united behind a basic American First Amendment principle that we ought to debate our differences. We ought to argue about them. We ought to try to persuade our fellow Americans. Kamala Harris is engaged.
They should have at least heard Trump's case on the election.
Yeah.
She's done it over
because you can still fuck them over if you want to and just say no, but you got to look at everything. But then the public would have gotten to look at everything.
Protesters should peacefully protest on January the 6th.
Governor?
Well, I've enjoyed tonight's debate, and I think there was a lot of commonality here, and I'm sympathetic to misspeaking on things, and I think I might have with the senator. But
me too, man.
There's one.
These two are just fucking loving each other.
Because I think we need to tell the story. Donald Trump refused to acknowledge this. And the fact is that I don't think we can be the frog in the pot and let the boiling water go up. He was very clear. I mean, he lost this election, and he said he didn't. 140 police officers were beaten at the Capitol that day.
They were not
Some with the American flag, several later
You're
died.
going to give Trump the black vote.
In there. In Minnesota, a group gathered on the state capitol grounds in St. Paul and said, we're marching to the governor's...
Bro, you do not want to talk about putting down mobs in Minnesota because we are not a good example of how to do it.
That issue and Mike Pence standing there as they were chanting, hang Mike Pence. Mike Pence made the right decision. So, Senator...
To get the fuck out of Dodge.
Over and over and over.
Hang.
I worked with kids long enough to know, and I said as a football coach, sometimes you really want to win, but the democracy is bigger than winning an election. You shake hands, and then you try and do everything you can to help the other side win. That's what was at stake here. Now, the thing I'm most concerned about is the idea that imprisoning your political opponents, already laying the groundwork for people not accepting this.
You've already done that.
A president's words matter.
You're trying.
A president's words matter. People hear that. So
peacefully,
I think
they heard that.
This issue of settling our differences at the ballot box, shaking hands when we lose, being honest about it, but to deny what happened on January 6th, the first time in American history that a president or anyone tried to overturn a fair election and the peaceful transfer of power.
He questioned it.
And here we are 4 years later in the same boat.
Just like Hillary did.
I will tell you this, that when this is over, we need to shake hands this election, and the winner needs to be the winner. This has got to stop. It's tearing our country apart.
You're tearing me apart,
Senator
Republicans.
Vance, did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, well, look, Tim, first of all, it's really rich for Democratic leaders to say that Donald Trump is a unique threat to democracy when he peacefully gave over power on January the 20th, as we have done for 250 years in this country. We are going to shake hands after this debate and after this election. And of course, I hope that we win, and I think we're going to win. But if Tim Walz is the next vice president, he'll have my prayers, he'll have my best wishes, and he'll have my help.
God, these two are just going to suck each other off.
But we have to remember that for years in this country, Democrats protested the results of elections. Hillary Clinton in 2016
She did.
said that Donald Trump had the election stolen by Vladimir Putin because the Russians bought like $500,000 worth of Facebook ads. This has been going on for a long time. And if we want to say that we need to respect the results of the election, I'm on board. But if we want to say, as Tim Walz is saying, that this is just a problem that Republicans have had, I don't buy that.
Governor.
January 6th was not Facebook ads. And I think a revisionist history on this. Look, I
allegedly
don't understand how we got to this
No, it
point.
was the media vilifying Trump for fucking 5 years. That's what it was.
Donald Trump can do it. And all of us say there's no place for this. It has massive repercussions. This idea that there's censorship to stop people from threatening to kill someone, threatening to do something, that's not censorship. Censorship is book banning. We've seen that. We've seen that brought up. I just think for everyone
having
tonight,
opinions on certain social topics, that's
thank
censorship
Senator
too.
Vance. I think this is the conversation they want to hear. And I think there's a lot of agreement, but this is one that we are miles apart on. This was a threat to our democracy in a way that we had not seen. And it manifested itself because of Donald Trump's inability to say. He is still saying he didn't lose the election. I would just ask that. Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
It's a damning non-answer for you to not talk about censorship. Obviously, Donald Trump and I think that there were problems in 2020. We've talked about it. I'm happy to talk about it further. But you guys attack us for not believing in democracy. The most sacred right under the United States democracy is the First Amendment. You yourself have said there's no First Amendment right to misinformation. Kamala Harris wants to use the power of government and big tech to silence people from speaking their minds.
Yes, it
does.
does.
That is a threat to democracy that will long outlive this present political moment. I would like Democrats and Republicans to both reject censorship. Let's persuade one another. Let's argue about ideas, and then let's come together afterwards.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. That's the test. That's
Nobody
the Supreme Court test.
No. Tim, fire in a crowded theater. You guys wanted to kick people off of Facebook for saying that toddlers shouldn't wear masks.
Senator, the governor does have the floor.
Fire in a crowded theater. That is criticizing the policies of the government.
Let them go back
which
and
is the
forth
right
for a
of
while.
every
Yeah, I
American.
like
Senator, the governor does have the floor for 1 minute to respond to you.
Yeah, well, I don't run Facebook. What I do know is I see a candidate out there.
just use my government
who
power to
refused,
leverage
and now
against them.
again, and this, I'm pretty shocked by this. He lost the election. This is not a debate. It's not anything anywhere other than in Donald Trump's world. Because look, when Mike Pence made that decision to certify that election, that's why Mike Pence isn't on this stage. What I'm concerned about is, where is the firewall with Donald Trump? Where is the firewall if he knows he could do anything, including taking an election, and his vice president's not going to stand to it? That's what we're asking.
He
you,
can't
America.
take an election. He
Will
had one
you
taken
stand
from
up?
him.
Right.
Will you keep your oath of office, even if the president doesn't? And I think Kamala Harris would agree. She wouldn't have picked me if she didn't think I would do that, because of course that's what we would do. So America, I think you've got a really clear choice on this election of who's going to honor.
So how about both of you
democracy
agree we
and
just need to
who's
come up
gonna
with a way
honor
to make
Trump.
sure that the
Governor,
election
your time is
legit?
up. Thank you, gentlemen.
One day,
We will
one
be
vote, one
right
person.
back
Yeah.
with both of our candidates. The CBS News
It's still
vice
going?
presidential
Yeah, this is
debate
supposed to be 90
continues.
minutes.
What are they doing?
The fuck?
They'll be right back.
I thought this was supposed to be a 90-minute
That's what I
debate.
thought too.
Well,
But are they going longer? Because it's actually like a real debate, and we haven't seen a real debate for so many years.
right? Fucking wild, man. We got really low viewership tonight, but I think it's because everybody's doing a debate stream.
But yeah, that'll happen.
So you're just having everybody watching their own version of it. Oh man. Well, what do you guys want to do? You want to close this thing up, or you want to watch the rest of this thing? Because we were going to go until 9:30 tonight.
Yeah, we're 10 minutes past now.
I mean, it's your call. I think they're just going to come back. I think we should let them come back.
Yeah.
Because I think they're just going to do their
Wrap up.
closing statements. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that's it. I don't know. I think it's been great so far. It's been nice to watch a debate. Like, I'm watching a debate to get information this time versus watching a debate like, I want to see the crazy fucking shit the guy's going to say.
Right.
Citizen M says, let's watch Kingdom of Heaven with Matt. That would be great, but Gray Duckling gave $180 bucks.
I would be
And he
less
said,
fearful
"We'll
of
be
World
43."
War III with one of these two, or both of them.
Yeah, I like both of them. I actually do like Tim Walz in this debate. He's a reasonable
The
guy.
fuck is
I
going
disagree with him on a lot of shit, but I
do.
like him.
Right. That's the weird. It's.
If he wouldn't have been such a cunt on COVID and given away $17 billion, that was the people's money, then that wouldn't have been so bad. But I don't know. He's a lot more palatable. He's a lot more likable in this one. What? Any new polls come out today? I saw Trump was winning in a lot of swing states.
Oh, okay.
Not
for long. Only until Election Day.
Georgia, North Carolina, Nevada, Arizona, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. I saw he was winning in these latest polls. And if he wins all those states, it doesn't matter how much Kamala wins the general by, the popular vote, because if you give Trump all those, Minnesota ain't going red. But if you give him Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Ohio, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado. I can't remember if New Mexico's red. I think it's red. I think New Mexico's a red state. Wisconsin, Michigan. That's a fucking landslide, bro.
Yeah.
That's a huge win for Trump. Let's say Kamala, let's give her Wisconsin and Michigan.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's still a fucking dick kicking, dude.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Jesus, I got to be missing a blue state in there somewhere, aren't I?
I don't know.
No? Oh, no, Illinois. There we go.
Ah.
Chicago and shit. That's still not very close. And she's probably going to lose Michigan. So, I mean, I'm gifting her Michigan, but that's still, their Democrats are going to be fucking pissed. You watch, they're going to call that election illegitimate just like the Republicans do, because they'll be like, Kamala won by fucking 3 points and Trump won the Electoral College in a landslide. That's bullshit. And then they're going to fight over that.
Well, didn't they win it last time with the electoral?
They won both.
Oh, okay.
Last time. Yeah. Illinois should be blue. No. Chicago and all that. Fuck no. Illinois is a blue state, my man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it should be blue. Yeah, you're right. I was there, Tim Walz. Oh,
boy. Oh, 7 seconds.
7 seconds till we come back?
Yeah.
I hope this is the final, like the wrap-up portion.
And then the big question still outstanding.
News for the generation of now is...
Generation of now?
What?
Oh, that's my kids, not me. I'm not the generation.
And we are back with tonight's
who's that big forehead motherfucker? Look at that dude.
Right here, analysis. But now, back
You
to
missed
the
a big
debate.
forehead, dude.
Welcome back to the CBS News Vice Presidential Debate. It is now time for the closing statement. Senator Vance won the virtual coin toss and elected to go last. So, Governor Walz, you are first. You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you, Senator Vance. Thank you to CBS News. And most importantly, thank you to all of you. If you're still up and the folks who miss Dancing with Our Stars, I appreciate it. But look, the support of the democracy matters. It matters that
Anna
you're
Dalve
here.
says that
And
Tim
I'm
Walz
as
looks
surprised as
poor.
anybody of this coalition that Kamala Harris has built, from Bernie Sanders to Dick Cheney to Taylor Swift, and a whole bunch of folks in between there. And they don't all agree on everything, but they are truly optimistic people. They believe in a positive future of this country and one where our
Skol
politics
Vikings,
can
you
be
fucker.
better than it is. And I have to tell you, that better than it is the sense of optimism that there can be an opportunity economy that works for everyone, not just to get by, but to get ahead. And the idea that freedom really means something. Not the freedom of government to be in your bedroom or exam room, but the freedom for you to make choices about
On
yourself.
pace for 17
Look,
and
we
0.
all know who Donald Trump is. He's told us, and as Maya Angelou said, believe him when he told you that. His first inaugural address talked
know who
about
Donald Trump
American
is?
carnage.
I'm white.
And then he
No, I'm
spent
white.
4
He
years
is.
trying to maybe do that. Senator Vance tonight made it clear he will stand with Donald Trump's agenda. He will continue to...
More like Senator Vance to the White House.
Kamala Harris gives us a different option. Now, I'll have to tell you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be
girl.
careful,
No, the
because
option
there's
we've
one
had
that
for
Senator Vance
fucking
said
3.5
that does
years.
resonate with me. He said Donald Trump makes the people I care about afraid. A lot of America feels that way.
Tell them to stop
we
being
don't
so
need
poor
to be
and
afraid.
weird.
Franklin Roosevelt was right. All we have to fear is fear itself. Kamala Harris is bringing us a new way forward. She's bringing us a politics of joy. She's bringing real solutions for the middle class.
Politics
and she's
shouldn't have
centering
joy.
You at the heart of that. All
What is
the
there to be
while
joy? Give me something to be
everyone,
joyous about.
Join this movement. Make your voices heard. Let's look for a new day where everybody gets that opportunity and everybody gets a chance to thrive. I humbly ask for your vote on November 5th for Kamala Harris.
Governor Walz, thank you. Senator Vance, your closing statement.
Well, I want to thank Governor Walz, you folks at CBS, and of course the American people for tuning in this evening.
The moderators were
One of the
much
issues
better
we didn't
than
talk
the
about
last
was
ones.
energy.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was being raised by my grandmother, when she didn't have enough money to turn on the heat some nights because Ohio gets pretty cold at night and because money was often very tight. And I believe, as a person who wants to be your next vice president, that we are a rich and prosperous enough country where every American, whether they're rich or poor, ought to be able to turn on their heat in the middle of a cold winter night. That's gotten more difficult thanks to Kamala Harris's energy policies. I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford a nice meal for your family. That's gotten harder because of Kamala Harris's policies.
And because we're fat.
I believe that whether you're rich or poor, you ought to be able to afford to buy a house. You ought to be able to live in safe neighborhoods. You ought to not have your communities flooded with fentanyl, and that too has gotten harder with because of Kamala Harris's policies. Now, I've been in politics long enough.
I don't
to
understand
do
this.
what
My
Kamala
neighborhood's
Harris
white. I
does
don't know
when
what
she
he's
stands
talking
before the American people and says,
I got
that
some
on day
halfway
one,
houses a couple
she's gonna
blocks away.
work
I know what he's
on
talking
these
about.
challenges I just listed. She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. Day one was 1,400 days ago, and her policies have made this problem worse.
1,452 beers
we have
ago.
the most beautiful country in the world. I meet people on the campaign trail who can't afford food.
That's nothing. Tim Walz is friends with school shooters.
I'm doing, and to tell me they're praying for my family. What that has taught me is that we have the greatest country, the most beautiful country, the most incredible
Such a
people
nice
anywhere
country.
in the
I walked
world.
in, I said,
But
what a
they're
great
not going
country.
to be able to achieve their full dreams with the broken leadership that we have in Washington. They're not going to be able to live their American dream if we do
Where
the
you
same
see,
thing
baby?
that we've been doing
And
for the
there will
last
be
3.5
gorilla
years.
shit
We
all
need
over down
change.
there.
We need a new direction. We need a president who has already done this once before and did it well. Please vote for Donald Trump. And whether you vote for me or vote for Tim Walz, I just want to say I'm so proud to be doing this, and I'm rooting for you. God bless you, and good night.
Senator Vance,
you cutie.
thank you. And thank you both for
All right,
participating
guys,
in
that's it. Enough of this fucking.
Fuck all you. We
Enough
gotta
of
go to
this.
bed.
Enough of this hug box horse shit. These guys being all gay together and stuff. What the hell? Thank you guys very much for being great tonight. Thank you for all your support. Thank you to Gray Duckling for paying for us to do a movie tomorrow night.
Yeah, I got
Matt's
a third
gonna
show
watch
this week.
Matt's gonna watch movie 43. It'll be great.
I'm working OT.
And you guys will. You guys are $20 into tomorrow morning. So
All right.
God damn, we just got 2 goals left. We got a Wednesday morning and a Thursday morning, and then we're done.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, boys and girls. We'll talk to
Gordo.
you. We'll talk to you
Gordo's
again
friendly.
tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.